From Kansas City, home of baseball's world champion Royals, CBS Sports presents the National Football League. It's the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. Today's game is being broadcast in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television.
CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Well, there's a little fog, as you can see, and 36 degrees. It was a low upper 20s temperature last night. We've had all kinds of accidents and, unfortunately, some fatalities here across the Midwest with this front that's going through. Rainy today. It's not going to let up. It is cold. There's a bit of a breeze. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, Arrowhead in Kansas City. The Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. They play a lot. Of course, there's a lot of history here, Rich, between these two original AFL teams. We've got the Chiefs winning the toss. They've deferred. Marcus Thigpen is deep back. And Santos will be kicking off for Kansas City.
Yeah, third straight year that these two teams have gotten together. And Kevin, we talked in the open. The critical nature of this game, two 5-5 teams fighting for a playoff spot.
We're underway, returnable from about the goal line. This is Thigpen. Initially hit on the play by Steven Nelson, then they all came after him. Also nice hit on the play by DJ Alexander, 23-yard gain. This takes us to the quarterback, Tyrod Taylor. I saw him Monday in Foxborough, and he hurt that right shoulder, Rich, but he's out there starting this afternoon.
Yeah, landed on that throwing shoulder on Monday night. Slight sprain of his AC joint. Wasn't able to practice on Wednesday. He did practice on Thursday and Friday. Spoke to him after practice on Friday. Said he feels good. He's ready to go.
He's got a 1st and 10. Incognito with the block. And Clay is brought down by the leading tackler for the Chiefs, Derek Johnson, with a gain of 2. Left side of the offensive line has started every game. Craig Urbeck starts for the injured rookie right guard John Miller today. Running back LeSean McCoy has the most yards rushing in the league of any running back since 2010. And they have him in their crosshairs today. There's a look at Sammy Watkins. You think they got to get him unleashed?
Got to get him going early, Kevin. You need some touches. Last week they threw the ball 16 times in the first half. He didn't have a single target.
It's McCoy on 2nd down and 8. Lead blocked by Woods, and that's exactly what he can do. Turn the corner, and down he goes after a gain of 12. He's up to the 36. Berry makes the stop on the defensive line. Dontari Poe, a 2-time Pro Bowler, nose tackle for the number 7D of the NFL. The tandem of Houston and Ali have the most combined sacks over the last 3 years in the league. And rookie Marcus Peters has been a starter since day one and leads the Chiefs with 4 interceptions. You think the safeties may be vulnerable, though?
Yeah, they got to be able to attack in the middle of the field. That's where the matchups are favorable for Buffalo.
1st and 10. Oh, he's got Watkins! And there they go, right at him. Berry was there. Sean Smith was there. They beat him on the play to the Kansas City 13. A 48-yard strike. Big play by the Bills.
Well, they went right after the corner, Sean Smith. That's the matchup that they want. We talked about getting Sammy Watkins involved early. They need to win those one-on-one battles. And last week, Tyrod Taylor missed a couple deep throws early.
Only the 26th reception all season long for Watkins, the second-year player out of Clemson. Had 3 catches and 39 yards against the Patriots on Monday, 1st and 10. McCoy finds room on that left side and takes it inside the 10. As the Chiefs make the stop right there, looks like Sean Smith getting off that pile on a gain of 6 by McCoy.
Well, if you're a defensive player going up against a running back like LeSean McCoy, he can frustrate you because he almost always makes the first defender miss. You need every defensive player involved. You just can't relax with a running back like LeSean McCoy.
Chiefs took out Abdullah, their 5th defensive back. They bring in DeVito on the line. Tight ends out there, 2 of them, for the Bills on 2nd down and 4. Here comes Houston. There goes Taylor over the head of Clay with the coverage on the play by Marcus Peters. That brings up 3rd and 4 for the Bills.
Well, these are dangerous plays. We talk about a two technique. So you have an outside linebacker lined up as the end man on the line of scrimmage, and when you start running nakeds and bootlegs to the open side with a guy like Justin Houston unblocked, you're just asking for trouble.
Chiefs are now going to go with 6 defensive backs. Hogan comes in for the Bills as a receiver, 3rd and 4. And they're looking for McCoy, and a back shoulder throw. Broken up beautifully by Derek Johnson. They were going for McCoy. Johnson was defending on the play. Terrific play defensively.
Really nice job and a good awareness by Derek Johnson to spin his head around and get that right arm up just in the nick of time to knock it away from LeSean McCoy.
So the Bills, who got the long pass completion to Watkins of 48, will try for 3. The Chiefs defense does their job, keeping him out of the end zone. A 27-yard field goal try by Dan Carpenter. He's 14-17 this year and nails it to put the Bills on top in Kansas City, 3-0. 11:53 in the first. Tyrod Taylor had a beautiful pass to Watkins. They pick up 48, sets up that field goal.
Yeah, Kevin, it's so important to get these receivers touches early in games to kind of get them in a rhythm a little bit. And as I said earlier, I know he's missed a couple of games with injury, but I'm amazed that Sammy Watkins has just 25 catches this season for the Buffalo Bills. He is too good of a target not to be more involved in this offense.
Kickoff specialist Jordan Gay. Will Booth is for the Buffalo Bills. D-back is Niall Davis, 3rd-year running back out of Arkansas. 9-mile-an-hour wind here, and he's going to bring it out about 8 yards deep. And he finds a gap and finds some room, and then Woods can't bring him down. And finally, he's taken down by the kickoff man, number 4, Gay, on a 39-yard return with flags on the field.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 84. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
That's unreserved tight end Demetrius Harris, who picks it up for the Chiefs. Our referee today is Terry McCauley, and there's a good look at Alex Smith. Rich, you said it in the open. He hasn't thrown an interception since late September at Lambeau and Green Bay.
Yeah, and he puts his team in a position each week to have a chance to win. I think that's the sign of a winning quarterback. We talked about the fact he takes unbelievably good care of the football. Just 3 turnovers all season. Heck, Kevin, I used to do that in a half. Back in the day, you remember calling games here.
I do.
But anyway, I have great respect for how this guy plays the game.
Well, that penalty cost Kansas City 31 yards in field position. And the Chiefs open up 1st and 10 from their 8. Smith, Kelsey the tight end. And Preston Brown rides him down at about the 19-yard line. Gain of 11 on the play. Rookie center Mitch Morris has started every game in the middle. The Chiefs have maneuvered their pieces on that line for the first half of the season, settling on this group. And now Spencer Ware, Rich said it before, first NFL start today. He is the 3rd different running back they've put there. Kelsey with a nice pickup of 11 and a first down. He is the leading receiver. Flag has just been thrown in the secondary.
They're going to get 12 on the field.
I think they are, yeah.
Had one running off real late.
Terry McCauley, like I said, is our referee today. Been the crew chief on 3 Super Bowls. That's the 2nd most in NFL history. Only to Jerry Markbright with 4 has more than him. Highly decorated McCauley.
There's no foul for 12 men in formation on the defense. The offense was not set for a snap. First down.
A little premature. Get away with one.
Yep.
But, you know, penalties have been a big problem all season for the Buffalo Bills. 95 already for a league high 852 yards. Rex knows they've got to get that cleaned up.
It's Ware on a 1st and 10. Stacked up. Darius is the first guy to plug the gap, and then there was nothing there. Brown finishes him off, along with Bradham on a gain of a yard. Mario Williams is out today with a foot injury, replaced by Alex Carrington. By the way, Kyle Williams out the last month, set for surgery, done for the year. Linebacker Preston Brown, we've seen him early on that Defense solid in the middle, and rookie Ronald Darby has deflected and knocked down more passes than any other defensive back in the league. 18. That guy's knocked down the second most. That's Stephon Gilmore. 2nd down and 9. They're chasing him with Hughes, and he wobbles it out of bounds. Hughes coming from the edge. He's a good one.
Well, Alex Smith's got to be thrilled that Mario Williams isn't playing. Kyle Williams, Kevin, as you mentioned, he's been out a couple weeks, will land on IR, but the injuries have been a big problem. But nonetheless, they haven't played as well up front. I'm a little disappointed that the defensive line hasn't been as consistent as they were a year ago. Certainly, this is a group that's underperformed. Without question, it's the strength of their defense when they're healthy and rolling.
3rd down and 9, 6 in the secondary for the Bills. Whoops. Hughes.
And Alex Smith
Neutral
told
zone
us.
infraction. Defense number 55. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And Alex Smith told us on Fridays, you see the penalties. We mentioned 852 yards of penalties. That's the most in football. But Alex said they've got to be able to use use the cadence and take advantage of being at home and see if we can get them to show some tells from this defense. Got to be able to sort through all the different packages and looks that they give you on 3rd down.
This defense of Buffalo has certainly found their stride. 3rd down and 4 was 3rd and 9.
Hey, 30.
Smith, low, uncatchable, looking for Avant with the coverage on the play by Corey Graham. He was in the area, and the Chiefs get nothing out of that drive, and they'll punt it away.
You know, last week when I looked at this Buffalo defense against the Patriots, Kevin says it's about as good a defensive plan as I've seen executed against Brady and the Patriots. And they really had them on their heels early. They kept changing up the looks and bringing one more defender than the Patriots could block. I'm very curious to see if they do some of the same things today against Alex Smith and the Chiefs.
It's Dustin Colquitt. And that's a poor punt with little hang time, and deep back was Thigpen. You can see the ball run. 3-3 on the hang time. This wind now picking up a little bit. Rain will be in the face of the Chiefs at the back of the Bills. We take a timeout in Kansas City.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency. Low fares, nothing to hide. MetLife. Contact a MetLife Premier Client Group representative today. And by the new 6th Gen Intel Core processor. It's Intel's best processor ever.
Our cameraman, Chuck Denton, who shot this yesterday at the Harry Truman Library Museum, said before JFK was assassinated, Truman would give tours of his library himself to people off the streets. And then the tragedy in Dallas, and then Secret Service, and no more tours. 2nd possession for Buffalo. 1st and 10, 34. LaShawn McCoy, who was drafted by Andy Reid, the Kansas City coach. Maga rides him out of bounds.
Yeah, really good start for Buffalo. They got the running game going. LaShawn McCoy, they like that sweep play to the left. And, of course, big play down the field, a 48-yard strike to Sammy Watkins. They had to settle for a field goal. The Chiefs have not allowed a first-half touchdown in the last 4 games. Got to be at your best down in that part of the field.
Greg Roman. He had Alex Smith out in San Francisco. Now he runs the offense for the Buffalo Bills. 2nd down, 11. Taylor, blockers ahead by Glenn and Mulligan. And it's a run for LaShawn McCoy of 16 after the catch. Out to the 50, bury the stop. 1st and 10 Buffalo.
And one of the reasons this is a good screen team is watch Glenn and Incognito get out in front of the screen. These are 2 big guys that can run, and it allows LaShawn McCoy to sneak in behind the tackle and the guard. As I mentioned before, Kevin, I think he's one of the toughest tackles in the open field. So slippery. He's got great vision and suddenness to him when you watch him run.
Taking a breather right now. Here's a guy that's going to be a star. Carlos Williams, the rookie. In the secondary, 5th round pick out of Florida State. Taylor going deep and looking for Watkins again. Ooh, man, they came from the secondary. The coverage by Peters. From the side came the strong safety, Ron Parker. Incomplete.
Well, you're not going to hit them all, but I like the fact that the Buffalo Bills are taking their shots, and I think that's important. It sends a message to corners like Marcus Peters and Sean Smith on the other side that we're going to attack down the field and stretch you vertically.
I'm assuming you like to do that when you were quarterback.
Absolutely. If not, it's so tough. You know, the field gets shrunk. You got to be able to stretch the field and attack these corners.
5 in the secondary. Here comes Williams. Just talked about him, but he's drilled as he goes into the line. Knocked down by Tamba Hali. Multiple Pro Bowler. Gain of 2 to the 48-yard line.
I had an interesting conversation with Chiefs defensive coordinator Bob Sutton on Friday. And he said that, hey, look, this is an offense that's not going to give up on the running game. We have to take it away completely by shutting it down and really by building a big lead. Offensive coordinator Greg Roman, you know, some of these guys talk about it. This guy believes it. He believes in running the football.
Hey, Larry!
McCoy is in. 3rd and long, 7. Blitz from Parker, picked up by McCoy. They've got Hogan on a first down catch at the Kansas City 34. Stop made on the play by Abdullah and by Branch. 13-yard pickup. Branch makes the stop.
Well, this is a nice job by Tyrod Taylor. Good, quiet feet. Doesn't panic when he sees the pressure. And Kevin, 3rd down's been a problem for the Buffalo Bills, converting just 34%. 26 in the NFL this season, and that's not good enough. Big conversion there on 3rd down.
Kansas City's 3rd down defense, number 3, really good. 32% is all they've allowed. Here's a 1st and 10, more penetration deep in Kansas City territory. A fumble by McCoy. LaShawn McCoy on that 1st and 10 run fumbles it away. And the Chiefs have gotten the ball back at their own 25. LaShawn McCoy. Thursday, it's a rivalry matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions on CBS and NFL Network. And in 2 weeks, the Vikings and the Cardinals will meet only on NFL Network. Sean McCoy has fumbled twice this year, losing both fumbles. Fumbled right there at the Kansas City 25. And the Chiefs take over for the 2nd time. Howard in the middle of that line, recovered by the Chiefs. The fumble by McCoy, and they go on 1st and 10 to Macklin with the coverage by Darby. It's a pickup of 7 to Jeremy Macklin.
Let's go back and take a look at the fumble and just keep an eye on nose tackle Dontari Poe. He is hard to move. You're going to see him split that deuce block, and he gets that left hand in there. LaShawn McCoy never feels him coming from the inside, but he's a hard man to move. You look at Poe, 346 pounds. That was before Thanksgiving, Kevin. I'm not sure if that's still an accurate number, but it's a big man at the point of attack.
That's a good line. 2nd down and 3. Spencer Ware. Did a couple times. Roby got in there and tried to bring him down. Then you can see the onslaught of defenders, including Charles. It's a loss of a yard. And Hughes. There's a look at Spencer Ware. He's out of LSU. He was drafted in the 6th round by Seattle in 2013. They released him a year later out of football. Chiefs picked him back on their practice squad in December of last year. He called up, and now here he is playing.
Really ran the ball well in the 2nd half last week on the road against the Chargers. 11 carries, 96 yards, and he found the end zone twice.
3rd and 4 into the nickel, Alex Smith. Outside, Ware with the coverage by Leotis McKelvin. The gain to the 32. He picks up a yard, and the punting unit comes out on 4th down.
Well, I think the Chiefs are going to have a difficult time throwing the ball outside the numbers today against this Buffalo defense. Buffalo's got some really good corners. Darby's had a terrific year as a rookie. I think Gilmore's one of the better cover corners in the game, and we just saw McKelvin is probably one of the better slot players, the nickel players in the game. So have a difficult time outside the numbers.
It's Colquitt. Another bad punt. Wobbling into the grasp of Thigpen at the 30. With a hit outside. Brought down on the play by fullback Anthony Sherman. 5-yard return, 5:19 in the 1st.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. And by Zales. Declare your love with gifts from Zales, the Diamond Store.
10 Bills from about 35
NFL fans, order your holiday gifts from NFLShop.com today and save up to 20% off at the official store of the NFL. NFLShop.com. With Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan. This post-Thanksgiving game. Third possession for the Bills, 1st and 10. They try to go inside there, and it's an incomplete pass. They were going for Robert Woods. Tell me about Tyrod Taylor, Rich. What do you think about him?
Well, Kevin, I think he's shown great patience and poise in his first year as a starter. You know, it's not easy. Talked about Alex Smith taking care of the football. How about Tyrod Taylor? Just 4 turnovers all season. He's done a wonderful job taking care of the ball, especially when you consider this is just his first year as a starter.
Buffalo comes in 5-5. Road record of 3-2. They've won 2 of their last 3. Second place in the AFC East. McCoy gets the call on 2nd down and 10. Not much there. Maga is there once again. It's no gain on the play with a good stop by the Kansas City player.
Well, when you don't block him, it's pretty easy. You look at Maga. I mean, he just sneaks right around incognito, never sees him. He's getting a kick-out block on Justin Houston. Kevin, it's been raining constantly here at Arrowhead. You and I were talking on the drive over. I mean, I played in some really tough games here. For the quarterback, you talk about ball security, the slick ball that comes up off the turf. You've got to make sure that you see every throw, especially in these conditions.
Chiefs have 6 in their secondary, 3rd down and 10. Tyrod Taylor. Rush was on. Watkins is open. Caught the ball and grabbed it with a 1st down connection at the 49. 14-yard pickup, 1st down. They beat Smith.
Well, the question is, does that right foot stay in when he actually makes the catch? I think it does. I think as he's catching it, he's able to drag that right foot. Great concentration on the boundary by Sammy Watkins.
Watkins has caught a couple passes, 1 for 48, 1 for 14.
Hey, you got that.
There's a challenge flag thrown out there by Andy Reid.
Kansas City is challenged.
Tiebreaker implications in this one with the Bills and Chiefs both at 5-5. Challenging that Watkins did not get his feet in. Timeout.
NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50.
Chiefs challenge the catch by Watkins. McCauley has gone under the hood.
After review, ruling on the field stands.
And a 14-yard pickup, and the Chiefs will lose a timeout. Mike Carey joins us now from our CBS studios in New York. Mike, what'd you see?
1st and 10 Bills from the Buffalo 49-yard line.
Look at it, but when you see you have clear control, right foot down, and then the left foot scuffs twice. If I'm in the booth, I confirm this one.
And they have, thank you, Mike. It's 1st and 10, another 1st down for Buffalo. They have struggled getting 1st downs this year. There's a flag.
Flag on the play.
As Carlos Williams was in the backfield.
False start. Offense number 85. 5-yard penalty.
Rich, the Buffalo Bills, the 3rd worst in the NFL in capturing 1st downs. They've already got 5 1st downs in this 1st quarter.
Well, they had a lot of success on the early downs, and I think pushing the ball down the field off some play action to Sammy Watkins has been a good thing for the Buffalo Bills here in the 1st quarter. When you start doing that, you start seeing these corners. Look at the spacing between the receiver and the corner. They respect his speed.
And a wet turf, who does it favor, the receiver or the defensive back?
The receiver. Now it allows you to run all the curls and the in-breaking routes because there's such a cushion between the receiver and the corner.
Because the receiver knows where he's going, right?
And you can see these 2 guys talking. They're having fun. This is going to be a great battle to watch.
1st and 15, Williams in the backfield with Felton. Felton the block. Woods, and he slips right out of the grasp of the defensive back. Parker. He picks up 12. He takes it to the 44. Let's go to New York and James.
Talk about a turnaround for Houston.
Yeah, the winners of 3 straight right here. Brian Hoyer's going to hit Cecil Shorts the 3rd with the 3-yard pass. Houston up 14-0.
Back to Kevin Harlan and Rich Gannon.
New defensive coordinator, same results for the New Orleans Saints. Rob Ryan out, Dennis Allen in.
And of course, you see those 2 teams tied for 1st. Houston, like Kansas City, turning their season around and getting back to 500. Down player for the Chiefs, as you can see. We have 3:59 to play in the first. Bills have it once again on top on a 27-yard field goal.
To see, just keep an eye on Justin Houston, the left leg of Houston. He's going to be trying to make the tackle. You see Parker, the safety, come in. He actually leg whips his own player, Justin Houston. You see him on the ground examining that left knee as we speak.
Frank Zombo will take his place. Began with Green Bay, was let go, vacuumed in by the Chiefs. Special teamer, defensive lineman in college, linebacker here in the NFL. 2nd down and 3 after the Woods reception of 12. Williams in the backfield. Incognito with the block. And that is the tight end Jerome Felton with room to roam, brought down by Smith and hit on the play by Barry. It's a 19-yard catch and run. Flag is thrown on the play. Right now the ball is at the 25. That's on the rookie running back Williams. Wipes out a 19-yard gain.
You're going to see him come out of the backfield. I have no idea why he does this. I mean, he's so far away from the play, it really doesn't even make a difference. He's going to come in here at the end. He makes that
on Derek Johnson.
Derek Johnson.
Yeah.
Totally not necessary.
Spot foul, 2nd down and 1. Carlos Williams pulling his Rubik, and they stuff it right there. Zombo is in on there. Marcus Peters, Ali, they all had a hand in it. Just a gain of 2. As Williams is something else. Of course, played for the national champions down at Florida State. He scored a touchdown, Rich did, Williams, in his first 6 games. He was the 2nd player in history to do that in their first 6 games in the NFL.
It looks like he's holding that left arm. And they need this guy. He's a tone setter. He's a physical runner. And you just watch what the Bills are doing with the running game, Kevin. A lot of perimeter runs to the left and right. A lot of those sweep runs to try and run at Houston and Tamba Hali.
McCoy is in. 1st and 10. Taylor buying time. And looking for Clay, who had the linebacker Ali on him on the side. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
Rod Taylor's done a nice job moving around, extending plays. He's got 7 completions already, spread out among 6 different receivers. As you see Justin Houston head to the locker room.
Maybe a hyperextension, huh? The way it went backwards.
Oh, you hate to see that. He's such a terrific player.
2nd down and 10. McCoy is in. Taylor takes it himself. And banged down by Mauga to the 33 on a gain of 7. Let's take you to the Jets-Miami game with James.
A Ryan Tannehill pick is capitalized on.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to find Brandon Marshall for the 17-yard score. It's Marshall's 8th touchdown of the year. New York takes the lead 7-0.
Back to Kevin and Rich.
Marshall makes that a different offense.
He really does, and they've got to pump the brakes a little bit, Kevin. They've lost 4 of the last 5, the Jets.
Another 5-5 team. We got them all over the AFC. 3rd and 3 here. Taylor. And he gets it off to his receiver, Woods. Mauga is there, the linebacker, on a gain of 5 and a 1st down. A team that has struggled to get 1st downs are just piling them up here in the first quarter. The Buffalo Bills with another one. 7 1st downs in this first quarter alone.
Well, I think the key for Buffalo, they got to be able to run it effectively, which is their strength. They need to be able to handle Justin Houston, who now just left the field, and Tamba Hali with their pass protections. And finally, they need to get the ball outside to Sammy Watkins, which they've done already here in the first half.
Carlos Williams walking off. We'll try to update his status. They're going deep for Watkins, and he got it. And it is a touchdown. Sammy Watkins working on Smith. 28-yard throw and a beauty by Taylor.
Boy, Sean Smith is a corner, Kevin, that when he struggles early, he tends to lose his confidence a bit. You see, he's in a trailed position. He knows he's got some help over the top. Really a terrific throw by Tyrod Taylor, getting in between the corner and the safety.
Hard
down
throw.
in the red zone.
Boy, I mean, he just had to just put it in there
Great
perfectly.
touch and timing on the deep ball.
But what an impact the second-year wide receiver Sammy Watkins is having in this game. He's caught a 48-yarder, and right there a 28-yard touchdown pass from the quarterback Tyrod Taylor.
Well, if you had any questions about how healthy Tyrod Taylor was with that slight sprain of the AC joint, it looks pretty good to me so far. Really throwing the deep ball well.
Watkins with 3 catches and 90 yards already. Carpenter will try to tag on one more. And it's 10-0 Buffalo with 1:04 to play in the first. In a game with playoff implications, Tyrod Taylor, Sammy Watkins splits the D, and they get 6 for the Bills. Boy, Taylor's been terrific so far for the Buffalo Bills.
It really has. And check this out. This is 2 deep coverage, and the safety's in position to make the play on the deep ball, and yet for some reason Eric Berry has his eyes in the backfield, and he takes a very poor angle. He's got to flatten this ankle. He should get there right when the ball gets there, but again, a perfect throw and catch gets it done for the Buffalo Bills.
And for the Chiefs, it's the first half touchdown allowed in the last 5 games for Andy Reid's team. Kickoff by Jordan Gay. And Niall Davis will take it out for the Chiefs. Got a block from Harris, and then Gay makes the stop. That's the second tackle he's made after kicking off a 25-yard return. Wednesday on CBS, a heartbreaking event will shake these doctors to their core. Don't miss a new Code Black. Wednesday at 10/9 Central only, CBS. With Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan. You can see the weather in Kansas City. It's been freezing overnight. It's above freezing right now. The defense picked on. 28-yard touchdown pass moments ago. Taylor to Watkins. Let's see how the Chiefs respond in a 10-0 hole. Where the running back, Nigel Bradham, meets him right at the line, drives him back. It is a gain of 2 with the forward progress up near the 26-yard line.
You know, it's interesting. You look at this offensive line of the Chiefs. They made changes either because of injury or performance, and really Andy Reid was looking for the 5 toughest and meanest guys he could find. That's kind of how he put it on Friday. He said, look, we got to get better up front. By no means is this a finished product, but you have seen improvement from this group certainly over the last month of the season.
And the offense has resulted in some big marks themselves. Highest ranking offense since mid-October. We're on 2nd down and 8. Darby hit him low, and then he just kind of tumbled ahead, and he picks up 7 on that run. He's out to the 33-yard line. Ware is out of LSU. There's a high school quarterback in Ohio with a look at Rex Ryan. The Bills and Ryan up 10-0 over the Chiefs after 1 on CBS. Good start for the Bills, but injuries both ways to important players, Rich.
Yeah, really important players. We know what Justin Houston means to this defense. I think Carlos Williams is a big one, Kevin, because now he can't spell, you know, LaShawn McCoy. That's huge for Buffalo.
3rd down and 1. Carrington maneuvering as we begin the second quarter here in Kansas City. Smith knocked away. Nice defensive play by Bakari Rambo. They were going for Kelsey, who's caught 1 pass today. Another 3 and out for the Chiefs. This will be their 3rd consecutive punt.
Really almost threw it right to Bakari Rambo. I mean, he never feels the safety sitting right inside. He's trying to hold up the tight end Kelsey, but that's 3 third downs, 3rd and short, 3rd and manageable situations that the Chiefs haven't been able to convert against this Buffalo defense.
Colquitt's first 2 hang times, 3.3 and 3.2. Here he has a little bit of wind at his back, but not much of a punt. Thigpen was back, and you can see it bouncing. That's a 3.5. This is not typical of Dustin Colquitt, who is struggling with the elements, obviously, today. That's a 40-yard punt right there. Week 12 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you on Fox, then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC. And tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN and Westwood One Radio. Join Dan Fouts and me tomorrow night from Cleveland. Ravens and Browns.
You know, it's usually the team that plays with the greater purpose. And right now, Kevin, clearly it's the Buffalo Bills. I mean, just, to me, for whatever reason, on both sides of the ball, the Chiefs look a bit lackluster. Surprised, especially when you consider how well they've been playing over the last month.
Chiefs have won 4 straight to get out of a 1-5 hole. First down and 10. LaShawn McCoy with a big block, and he's into the secondary and brought down by Parker. It's a gain of 9, a burst to the 37.
Well, look at those numbers and how good this team has been over the last month defensively, and today, not the case. They've already get up 10 points. Not getting off of blocks, not tackling well right now in the secondary.
Under, 856.
Little second down and 1 here for Tyrod Taylor. Played at Virginia Tech. McCoy. They've been calling for more McCoy. Ali jumping on him. Also, Derek Johnson was in there. It's a gain of 2. Should be good for a first down. The Chiefs coming off a 30-point win at San Diego last week. And during this winning streak, Rich, plus 91-point differential in their 4 consecutive wins.
Yeah, I mean, really, their formula for success has been to protect the football, play the field position game, and then let their defense win it. I mean, they've been turning it into one-dimensional games, building a lead and forcing teams to throw the football.
Couple tight ends for Taylor with a 1st and 10. Henderson with the block at the right tackle. Time for Taylor. There's a flag, maybe a hold on that line. They're going for Watkins with the coverage on the play by Washington rookie Marcus Peters.
Holding, offense number 66. 10-yard penalty, first down.
It was on Seantrell Henderson. He struggled last week via Pro Football Focus against the New England Patriots.
You're going to see him right up the top here. Just working on Zombo. He's got good position initially, and then right at the end there, for whatever reason, it seems to grab. Oh, there he gets him. Probably would have gotten away with it had Tyrod Taylor thrown the football, not rolled out to his right.
1st and 20 now. Taylor is 9 of 14. McCoy's got 31 yards on the ground. Watkins has 90 receiving yards. Taylor with the 1st and 20 goes outside, and he's got Robert Woods. And Woods, who had the double coverage there of Parker, along with Peters, picks up 8, and he's up to the 37-yard line of the Bills.
Well, look at how far off Marcus Peters is playing right now. You look at him on the Tyrod Taylor just floats this ball out to the boundary. You don't even see, you can't even find Marcus Peters. He's 10 yards off. And it's not like it's Sammy Watkins. I mean, I know they have great respect for Robert Woods' speed as well, but this guy's got to close the cushion a little bit.
About a 9-mile-an-hour breeze with the rain in the face of the Bills offense in this second quarter. 2nd down and 12. Taylor looking for Watkins. Flag. And an incompletion with the coverage on the play by Peters, who's been a starter all season long.
Well, he's struggling right now, Marcus Peters.
Holding, defense number 22. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And they're just going to go. Anytime they see the press coverage, they're going to go right by him. You see him grab, he gets stunned. A better throw here from Tyrod Taylor probably gets it done. Sammy Watkins has to come back for that ball. You've got both corners right now. If I'm Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, I'm saying to myself, the one guy, 21, he's struggling. Sean Smith, 22, Marcus Peters is a rookie. He's struggling. We got to keep attacking down the field.
We just saw the great ball control by the Bills. Incognito will lead the way for McCoy. Here's hit by Parker and brought down on the play by Nick Williams on that defensive line on a gain of 4 up to the 45.
I think offensive coordinator Greg Roman's done a fine job of structuring game plans around what Tyrod Taylor is comfortable with and what he does well. We talked about it in the open, Kevin. He is committed to running the football, but they've done a nice job opening things up here on the early downs, giving Taylor a chance to throw the ball down the field.
It's the 4th possession for the Bills. They got a 27-yard field goal and a 28-yard touchdown pass to Watkins. 4th possession right now. 2nd down and 6. It's McCoy with Urbic pulling. And he got by Maga, and he goes outside, and he is wrestled across the way by Parker on a gain of 5. And a flag as he got to the 50.
Offside, defense number 96. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Jay Howard on that line for the Chiefs D. Rich, in the huddle as a quarterback when you got conditions like this, cold and windy and certainly rainy, what would you tell your guys as often as you could?
Well, I think it starts with the communication with the center, Eric Wood. I want to make sure I get, a dry ball and to make sure that there's no issues with the quarterback center exchange. Then you talk about, ball security when you hand the ball off, receivers making sure they come back to the football.
Boobie Dixon. He's not carried much this season. Dixon, with only his 16th carry of the year, picks up 6. And he's in, of course, because of the injury to Carlos Williams. We are still awaiting word on his condition.
Kevin, there's times in games as a quarterback where it was raining so much, or I'd get a ball that was slick, and I knew I couldn't throw it down the field. So it would force me, even though I maybe had a shot, I'd have to find a completion, check it down to the back, or check it down to the tight end. So you just got to make sure that you have a good grip on that ball when it's raining in these type of conditions.
1st and 10, McCoy. Johnson submarined him. Derek getting in there, and then Poe was on top. Only a gain of a yard on the play. We told you earlier that Carlos Williams had gone with the shoulder, but nothing more since then. We're still trying to get exact word if he'll return. With a look at LeSean McCoy, who has been terrific. He's number 4 in touchdowns since 2010, Rich. He's number 2 in all-purpose yards, receiving and running the ball in the NFL over the last 5 years.
Well, he's a complete back. I mean, he can do it all, and he's so good with the ball in his hands. He always seems to make the first defender miss. And we talked about it. It's as good as there is with the vision and the instincts in the hole.
2nd down, 9. And they go down the side looking for Watkins, and it's incomplete. Coverage on the play by Smith on that 2nd and 9. Smith's had a tough day. Watkins has been terrific in the first half.
But boy, you got to make that catch. It's a dangerous throw. It goes right through the hands of Sean Smith.
Smith, of course, had suspension problems to begin the season. It's the first 3 games. 3rd and 9 now. Then Kansas City's 3rd down defense, number 3 in the league coming into today, but a bunch of first downs by the Bills. They've been terrific in that category, converting a lot of 3rd downs. Here's a 3rd and 9. Timeout Buffalo with 10:21 to go and a 10-point lead. Big play, a 28-yard touchdown pass. Taylor to Watkins. Bills just took a timeout. They have a 3rd and 9. You see our weather up there, 36 degrees, some wind, rain continuing to fall. The Bills have passed on every 3rd down this afternoon.
Hey, Walkie, drama. Hey, boy to 50. Lightning, go.
They need the 34. Taylor, and short and incomplete, looking for Wood. Smith was over there covering, and the punting unit will come out for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, you watch the protection's really been outstanding the first half, but he's not really able to step into this one. He gets a little bit of push in his face, and he winds up underthrowing that ball on the sidelines to Robert Woods.
Frankie Hammond Jr.'s deep back. They just brought him off the practice squad. Colton Schmidt will punt. He has not had a touchback since week 1. He's a terrific directional punter.
Well, he just jinxed him.
Sorry. I got all Western New York ticked off now. My apologies. 44-yard punt to the 20 with a touchback. Well, we have a moment. We wanted to acknowledge a loss in the Chiefs family earlier this week. Tesdell Cruz, who's the father of Vice President of Communications Ted Cruz, passed away at the age of 73. Our thoughts go out to Ted and his family, especially during the holidays. These things can be incredibly difficult. Yeah. Ted, one of the great guys in the NFL. We love seeing him every time we come to Kansas City.
Takes such great care of us. You're
sure
right. Every
does.
time we come down here, and always so hospitable.
That's the first punt today by Buffalo. Here come the Chiefs. 29 yards of offense so far. Where big hole got by Branham. And he goes steamrolling his way into Bakari Rambo. Nice run. 16-yard pickup. And a first down to the 36 of the Chiefs.
Wow, this is an impressive run by Spencer Ware. Watch him finish this run. He just runs over the safety, Rambo, as if he's not even there. He was a fullback in college. Guy that's got a low center of gravity. He is a physical downhill runner.
Played baseball, too, at LSU. First down and 10. You said before, a high school quarterback in Ohio, and a good one. Where again, big hole again, into the secondary. Graham got him that time, who leads him in tackles. And Darby is down. He got hit by that sledgehammer, otherwise known as Spencer Ware. 12-yard pickup, first down.
Well, he comes downhill with a purpose. You're not going to tackle this guy with your arms. You're going to run right through arm tackles, and we talked about a tough physical back who will drop his shoulder and run right through tackles. That's who he is.
Darby is going to be taken out of the game. The official stopped play, and with concussion protocol and everything that is surrounding that, the intrinsic eye of the NFL on situations like this, the terrific rookie out of Florida, who right now is in the conversation for Rookie of the Year defensively in the NFL, with Leonard Williams with the Jets and Marcus Peters from Kansas City. So Ware has had a couple of runs on this drive at 16 and 12. Here they go now to Wilson. He runs outside, and he was ushered out of play by former first-round pick Leotis McKelvin. Out of bounds, he goes to the Bill 44. He picks up 8, and the Chiefs have got some momentum on offense.
Yeah, they're getting it done with the running game. That's what Andy Reid does. When they struggle a little bit, they get back to the basics. Starts with running the football here in Kansas City.
Napoli is on that defensive line. Second down and 2. Butler taking the plays to Darby. Here comes Ware, who's been wearing him out on this drive, and Darius grabs him along with others. Preston Brown is in there. This Ware brings a little bit of grit, doesn't he, when he runs the ball. He's the third running back for the Chiefs this year. He has a gain to the 40. It's a first down. They began with the great Jamal Charles, blue and E. Then they have running back Charkendrick West out of Abilene Christian. He's injured with a hamstring, and so now the third level running back is Ware.
And they just keep moving on. And, you know, Andy Reid does a nice job adjusting to what these backs do well. And clearly, Spencer Ware runs between the tackles with a lot of confidence.
He's got 3 carries on this drive for 32 yards. First and 10. Smith opening it up. Going for Macklin, who's got some space. Got the ball down at the 3. He was taking advantage of Butler, just got in the game for the Bills. A 37-yard strike. It's first and goal to go for Kansas City.
Well, that's the guy they want to throw the ball down the field to, Jeremy Macklin. A better throw here probably gets it done in terms of a touchdown. Jeremy Macklin has to come back for that throw because it was poorly underthrown by Alex Smith.
Andy Reid had him in Philadelphia. Signs him in Kansas City. First and goal at the 3. Wilson in motion. Ware. Touchdown. Why not? Ware authored the drive. And he finds a touchdown, and a close one now with 6:57 to go in the first half. Ware had a couple touchdowns against San Diego last week.
Well, we saw the speed sweep earlier with Albert Wilson, so he's going to come across in motion. We talked about plays that look the same but are different. Now they run the inside trap to Spencer Ware. That was a really impressive drive by the Chiefs. They did it predominantly on the ground.
I believe that is Jeff Allen, who is the left guard, taking the place of the injured Ben Grubbs. A timeout for the injury, and 6:57 in the second. Cairo Santos trying to put in the extra point. He is 24-25 in that category. Makes it a 10-7 game as the Chiefs cut into the Buffalo lead. Jeff Allen, the starting left guard, just hobbled off the field. That is a continuing story. We'll update when we come back to Arrowhead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Jared the Galleria of Jewelry. The gift you'll treasure forever. Hyundai, an official sponsor of the NFL. And by Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com.
The Arabia Steamboat Museum. Arabia sunk back in 1856, found a century later in the Missouri River, and all the artifacts. There is Spencer Ware from LSU, second year in the league after some practice squad time. Didn't cut it with Seattle, who drafted him in the 6th round. There's some nice running, one gain of 16, another run of 12, Rich, and he gets the 3-yard touchdown run to bring the game to within 3 for the Chiefs.
That was important, Kevin. They were getting blanked here at home, and they fell behind 10-0. Of course, they put together an impressive drive, 6 plays, 80 yards, and really got that running game cranked up to a nice, respectable level.
Chiefs had punted the first 3 times they had the ball. That possession by the Chiefs comes after the first Buffalo punt. And Smith is only 4-7, but he does have 57 yards through the air for the Chiefs. Ware's carried it 8 times for 44 yards, and upcoming with Marcus Thigpen back at about the goal line, the former Miami Dolphin player. It's now a Bill, and here is the Santos kickoff. Right from the goal line. Thigpen into a pile and brought down by Tyvon Branch after a 25-yard gain. There was on that last drive for the Chiefs, Rich, a 37-yard pass to Macklin. Were you surprised maybe the Bills didn't challenge this at all?
Yeah, certainly one to look at it. Macklin had to come back for the underthrow, and looks like it kind of traps it onto the ground. You know, very low percentage of throws that actually go 20 yards or more when you study this Chiefs offense. In fact, it's the second fewest in football. An offensive features a lot of short intermediate passing.
This is McCoy. Incognito with a pulling block and then stuffed right there. Not a lot of time. That's a gain of a yard. Mauga with the stop. Let's go to Mike Carey in our CBS studios in New York. Mike, what do you think on this one?
Yeah, Rich, I think I'd be stronger than you. Kansas City got lucky. Buffalo should have challenged this because there's a bobble, and then the ball hits the ground. Macklin uses the ground to control it. That's an incomplete pass.
2nd down and 9. Mike, thank you. Carlos Williams out with a shoulder injury in this game. McCoy remains. The pressure by Ali, and this is Clay. He breaks a tackle there of Berry, then is wrapped up on the side by Jay Howard and very close to a 1st down. He takes it out near the 34-yard line of the Buffalo Bills.
Well, you look at Charles Clay, he's their leading receiver. He's had just 41 receptions. Tells you how much they like running the football, but this was a good addition for them. He came over in free agency from Miami. He gives them some versatility at that position. Guy that's got good hands and can create some havoc in the middle of the field.
It's a 1st down. Rich, the Bills have run 32 plays to the 16 of the Chiefs in this game.
30 lead. Mike 90.
It's McCoy. Jared Johnson may have flipped him, and then Mauga jumps on him. Gain of 3 out to the 37-yard line. Coming up on the Verizon halftime report from our CBS studios in New York, JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher with scores and news and highlights, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. Packers and Lions. That's all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. 2nd down and 7. McCoy, 11 carries, 38 yards. 3 catches for 25. Taylor, Watkins open right in front of Smith, who's given him a lot of breathing space. To the 48, pickup of 14. Sammy's over 100 yards receiving today.
Well, Sean Smith doesn't want to get beat deep. You see him, look at the cushion here. Again, another 7 yards. These are easy throws for a quarterback like Tyrod Taylor. He's going to need some help underneath from the flat defender.
Watkins, 4 catches, 104 yards, and a 28-yard touchdown reception.
He's doing a really good job beating press man-to-man coverage as well.
1st and 10. McCoy cuts back nicely, doesn't he? And then he gets down to the 44 and picks up 4 in the play. A lot of maneuvering to get those 4 yards, but he gets it. Part of what makes him so incredibly tough. Andy Reid and him had a nice 4-year run in Philadelphia together.
They had a great run, and I think Andy's got great respect for the type of player he is and the type of person he is. And he just always seems like he has eyes in the back of his head. I mentioned he's not the biggest back, but he's pound for pound maybe the toughest.
It's a 2nd down and 6 for the Bills. Taylor for Woods. And the coverage on the play, Marcus Peters. Let's go to New York and James.
Cincinnati looking to snap a 2-game losing streak.
Andy Dalton's going to look off the safety and find Tyler Eifert down the seam for the 22-yard touchdown catch. Tyler Eifert's 12th on the season. Cincinnati leads 17-7.
3:27 left in the first half. Back to Kevin and Rich.
Bengals line of weapons, but Eifert right at the top of the
How
list.
can you not cover that guy in the red zone? I mean, that's the only guy he throws it to down that part of the field.
3rd down and 6. Look at the 3rd down conversions today, 3 of 5. They send pressure. He's going for Watkins, who finds double coverage, and he caught the ball again. Watkins is shredding the Kansas City secondary. Down there, he had Parker and Berry both. And a 33-yard completion to Sammy Watkins for a 1st down.
My goodness. I mean, it doesn't make a difference who it is right now. I mean, Ron Parker, if it's Sean Smith, if it's Marcus Peters, nobody seems to be able to cover Sammy Watkins. I mean, it's amazing. Tyrod Taylor just throwing it up to him and giving him a chance. That's what you got to do.
Hey, damn, Lou Trace.
1st and 10 at the 11. Fake to Dixon. Taylor being chased by Zombo. Houston is out. We've told you that with a knee injury. Zombo taking the place. Incomplete. 2nd and 10.
How about the first half that Sammy Watkins has had? 5 catches, 137 yards, a touchdown already. We talked about him going after these corners. Put him inside. He goes after the nickel, Parker. I mean, they've got to start doubling Sammy Watkins or he may go for 250 in this game.
Look at that. Big numbers right there. 6th play of the drive.
Said earlier, you just got to give this guy opportunities early in the game.
2nd down and 10, McCoy. Flag is thrown. Blow around his ankles. Also hit by Berry on the play with a gain of 3. And the Bills.
Holding. Offense number 64. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Rich, we have playoff implications in this game. The head-to-head is at contest. The AFC record. Tie-breaking implications in these two with 5-5 records apiece.
Yeah, a lot at stake, Kevin. You talk about a team that had a lot of momentum coming to this one. The Kansas City Chiefs, they lost 5 in a row. They come back, win 4 in a row. The Buffalo Bills, they know what's at stake. This is their 3rd straight road game.
2nd down and 20. Dixon in the backfield. Taylor. Watkins. He's done it again! Sammy Watkins once again torches Smith. A 21-yard touchdown pass. What an afternoon for Sammy Watkins.
Well, there's not much you can say to Sean Smith. He's in position to make the play. It's just you got a better player that you're trying to cover. I mean, look, he's right in position. He doesn't find the ball. Then he spins back inside, and at that point, it's too late. But the good thing is that Tyrod Taylor knows that Sammy Watkins is on fire right now, and he's given him a chance not only against single coverage, but against double coverage as well. And he is putting on a freak show here in the first half.
Wow. Carpenter will try to tack on one more with 2:29 to play in the first half from rainy Kansas City. And he does not get that one, missing right there. 3rd missed extra point by Carpenter. But the story is Watkins. His quarterback has thrown it to him twice in the end zone. He's answered both times for the Buffalo Bills. NFL Play 60, the NFL's movement for a more active generation, encourages fans to get moving and play for 60 minutes every day. Run, jump, and race all the way to Super Bowl 50 with free NFL Play 60 app. Download today or learn more at NFLrush.com. Jordan Gay has it teed up. Watkins with 2 touchdown receptions. His quarterback has gone 14 of 23. Tyrod Taylor has been right on the screws. On the bounce and through the hands, and a tough day to hold the ball. Kyle Davis lets it go through. Touchback to the 20, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Chiefs, who are coming off a very good-looking drive themselves.
Yeah, and Kevin, I think if you're Sean Smith, or Marcus Peters, the two corners for Kansas City. Every time Buffalo breaks the huddle, you're just hoping that Sammy Watkins doesn't come out and line up on your side.
Wow.
I mean, it's been that kind of day so far for both these corners. They're going to need help. You see to his right, Eric Berry, safety's going to start helping out these corners, or it's going to be a long, long day for the Chiefs.
Zach Fulton is the new left guard for the Chiefs. We saw Jeff Allen leave with an ankle injury. That's all we've received from the Chiefs so far. On the injured starting left guard, Jeff Allen. Fulton replaces. 1st and 10. Blocked by Fisher. And they got Macklin. He's pushed out of bounds by Gilmore and ushered across the way by Graham on a 14-yard catch to the 34-yard line in a Kansas City first down.
And really, when you study the Chiefs' passing game, it's their leading receiver is a tight end as well, Travis Kelce. Then it's Macklin, and then it's the backs. You don't get a lot from the other receivers. Alex Smith usually looks to Macklin or Kelce in the passing game.
Macklin's got today 3 catches for 58 yards. 1st and 10. 2-minute warning, 1:59 is what it shows on the clock here, but we've got 2:12 on our clock here. We have a clock issue. It's raining. It's frozen like the rain on the trees. 2-minute warning in Kansas City. Rich, did you expect those kind of numbers through one half?
Isn't it amazing? Almost 300 yards of offense against, maybe the best defense in football over the last month of the season in the rain.
I know it. 2 timeouts apiece. Look out from behind. They move up nicely with Smith looking for Avant and dropped on the play by Rambo. And a flag thrown on the play. They were going for Jason Avant. It was a late flag, Rich. That came out of the secondary.
Well, it can't be on Rambo. He's making a play on the ball. He does nothing to interfere with Jason Avant.
I didn't think so either. 2 5-5 teams.
Pass interference, defense number 37. Automatic first down.
That's Nickel Roby, who they call.
It must have happened early in the process.
Yes.
1st and 10 Chiefs at the Buffalo 41-yard line.
There you see it right here. A little bit of a jersey pull. It does happen early. Yeah, you see it's a good look at it. Because you couldn't see it at the end. And, of course, Rambo's just making a play on the ball. Good shot by our camera guys.
25-yard penalty, in essence, to the 41 of Buffalo. Smith, 5 of 8. 1st and 10. Going long again. Macklin working on Darby. Got him! Touchdown!
Well, you're going to see the safety. He goes back to the middle of the field. They get the one-on-one matchup. They want Macklin on the rookie, Darby. And this is a perfect throw by Alex Smith. He gives him enough air and he allows him to run underneath it, unlike he did on the other one where he had to come back. But really good anticipation by Alex Smith.
Back-to-back 80-yard drive for the Chiefs. Macklin snares his 3rd touchdown reception of the season. A 41-yarder. And they got the celebrated rookie, Darby. Cairo Santos. And it's a 2-point ball game. There was a missed extra point by the Bills. A 2-point game. Here is Alex Smith. It's a beauty. Macklin to the house. And the Chiefs close the gap again with Alex Smith's arm.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly. And by Garmin Fitness. Let's beat yesterday.
Beautiful Union Station in downtown Kansas City. At one time, that was the 2nd busiest train station in the world and back at Paris decades ago. Now coming up, the Verizon Halftime Report, JB and Company news, scores, highlights, and a preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network, Lions and Packers. All coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Quarterbacks throwing touchdown passes in the rain and cold and wind of Kansas City. Thick pen under it from the 7 on the Santos kickoff after the 41-yard Kansas City touchdown reception by Macklin. And out of bounds he flies. So the Chiefs, who began 1-5, have won 4 straight. That puts them into that 6th position. And they're there because they've beaten Houston. And they have that tiebreaker with the others. But you can see all the teams bunched in there, Rich, in the AFC. Thus the importance of this game here.
Yeah, especially when you consider that first tiebreaker is the head-to-head. So you look at Buffalo at 5-5, Kansas City at 5-5. That's why this game is of paramount importance.
Houston, Jets, and Oakland all winning right now. 2 timeouts apiece. Taylor from the 27, 1st and 10. That's dropped, big hit by Marcus Peters on the intended receiver, Robert Woods out of USC. 2nd and 10.
Well, a good opportunity here for Buffalo to get some more points before the half. They got a couple timeouts left. Good throw there to start the drive by Tyrod Taylor. Both quarterbacks have done a nice job in these conditions, holding on to the football. Ball security hasn't been an issue with the quarterbacks.
Hey, Ricky!
Chiefs have 5 in the secondary, 2nd down and 10. Taylor outside, incomplete, looking for Clay with coverage by Branch, who is from Western New York, from Syracuse. Tyvon Branch. 3rd down and 10. The throwing today of Taylor, 14 of 25, 236. When coming into the game, Rich, you talked about the injury he suffered against the Patriots on Monday to the shoulder.
Yeah, and, you know, was able to practice on, didn't throw on Wednesday, was able to practice on Thursday and Friday, said he felt good. And so far, he's got no problems throwing the ball to Sammy Watkins, that's for sure.
Watkins 158 first half receiving yards. 3rd down, 10. And going for Woods. Coverage by Branch and by Peters. They may be tightening their screws a little bit after they've been somewhat embarrassed here in the first half. It's the first 3 and out. And here comes the punting unit for the Buffalo Bills.
Well, his first mistake is he didn't throw it to Sammy Watkins. Second mistake is he tried to fit that one into double coverage between the corner and the safety.
Colton Schmidt. Sanborn, the long snap. Good hang time here, and he sends up a rocket to Hammond. 4-5 hang time, and a 43-yard punt. Chiefs offense out there, 2 timeouts coming. 4 straight wins for the Chiefs to go to 5-5, Rich.
It's been a season of comebacks. Look at these teams. The Texans got a rough start, and they really have played terrific over the last month. How about the Buccaneers? The job that Lovie Smith has done down there with their rookie quarterback, and even the Jacksonville Jaguars, our guy Gus Bradley. Blake Bortles, Hearns, Robinson, throwing the ball well down there in Jacksonville.
So the Bills have had it 6 times. They punted a couple. They've gotten a field goal and a touchdown pass. Taylor of 28 and 21 to Watkins. This is Kansas City's 6th possession, 1st and 10, 2 timeouts. That screen pass, which is so that Bradham read it so well, jumping on Ware. Minimal gain, just a yard. Nigel Bradham.
Well, Rex talked to us on Friday. He said, we got to tackle better in the secondary. It's been a point of emphasis all week. They given up 480 yards after the catch since week 9. That's the 3rd most in football.
Smith is 7 of 10, 2nd down and 9. Blocked by Fisher, keeping out Hughes. And they've got Macklin, who may have stepped on the chalk, even though he grabbed the ball with the coverage by Brown. And he was on the white, so it's 3rd and 9 for Kansas City.
Well, he does a nice job coming back to the football, but you see that left leg clearly out of bounds.
Good shot by our camera crew here today with some great angles on some of these interesting plays. Chiefs in 2nd place in the AFC West. Bills in 2nd place, tie with the Jets in the AFC East.
Yeah.
3rd down and 9. Moves up nicely. He's got to get to the 39. He gets a block, and he got the 1st down. Alex Smith. These are two of the better running quarterbacks in the NFL, both in the top 5 in quarterback running. A 10-yard gain and a first down there.
That was a really impressive run by Alex Smith. I mean, he's all over the place. You see him cut back. You see the official does a nice job getting out of the way. He's going to get run over by Lawson. But a great effort there at the end to get the first down.
Starting left tackle Fisher is down. He was the #1 overall pick, you may recall, a couple years ago. And he's the guy that was on the right side, then the left side. And here he sits with an injury and 36 seconds to go. Kansas City injury now. They're going to have a timeout taken off the board.
Yeah, he's going to run into Jerry Hughes and right in the middle of your screen there, and seems to go down to the ground immediately.
Chiefs have already lost their starting left guard, Jeff Allen.
We're looking at his neck.
Dr. Chris Barnhouse is out there, one of the best in the NFL.
You just see right there. Just keep an eye on the left tackle, Fisher. He's going to come in and try and block Hughes, and he gets hit right in the temple. And you see him go right to his knees and then down to the ground.
That's the first thing they say. Don't lower your head. Don't lower your head.
Shot to the temple. It's what got me.
Well, the last game the Chiefs played here at Arrowhead more than a month ago, October 25th, they beat Pittsburgh by 10, which started this run. In fact, since the Royals, when they got in the World Series, the Chiefs haven't lost. It was like both Kansas City's pro teams were side by side with wins, and of course this city is still abuzz and aglow with that Royals victory over the Mets in the World Series. Second consecutive World Series appearance by the Royals.
There he is, right in the middle of your screen. And you've got that unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant, Kevin. They got them up in the booth, down on the field.
There's a process, isn't there, Rich, with that?
There really is. If there's a suspicion of a concussion, the player is going to be escorted from the field, usually to the locker room where a team physician and the UNC will conduct a full assessment. Of course, if there's a diagnosis with a concussion, there's no same-day return to play. Big conference call this past week because of what happened in St. Louis.
Yep, with Case Keenum. They're going to go look at Fisher. The new left tackle is Donald Stevenson. He started the first 6 games at left tackle for the Chiefs. It's a 1st and 10. One timeout left. Time there, but here comes the rush. Look out, big Darius. And over the head of Avant with coverage by Gilmore.
Well, there it is. There's a concussion protocol. We just talked about it a minute ago. They'll remove the player from the field immediately. The NFL team physician and the UNC will review video of the play and perform a neurological exam. And the player passes the exam. He's going to be monitored for symptoms throughout the game. Kevin, this is the issues you mentioned with Case Keenum in St. Louis.
Yes.
They had a conference call, all 32 teams. The trainers were on that call. And we have all this technology in place now. We got to better utilize it to ensure the safety of the players on the field.
The Chiefs have lost to injury 2 starting offensive linemen today. 2nd down and 10 with a single timeout remaining, and going deep and finding his sliding receiver Albert Wilson out of Georgia State. Roby was right there. They're going to use the timeout. The gain to the 44 of Buffalo. It's a pickup of 16 yards.
And completion from Alex Smith, good for a Kansas City.
Wilson catching his 18th of the year.
Well, low and away, and a really nice job by Wilson going down and getting it.
Here's Cairo Santos, who is warming up. Need maybe another 9-10 yards. Chiefs have scored the last 2 possessions. A 3-yard touchdown run by Ware, a 41-yard touchdown pass to Macklin from Smith.
Now you got 20 seconds. You have no timeouts. The Chiefs still have plenty of time to complete the ball in the middle of the field and still get down there and clock it and give their field goal kicker a chance. Don't have to throw this one on the boundary. Can still work in the middle of the field.
Niall Davis, the running back. It's a 1st and 10. And knocked away. Beautiful defensive play by Gilmore. Boy, he had a play last week against Brady in that Monday night game. Sensational bat down. He does the same thing here.
This is perfect technique. You see, just in position. He does a nice job seeing the throw and getting that right hand in there and knocking it away.
That's his 18th pass defense this season. He came into today number 2 in the NFL in that category, back of his rookie teammate, Ronald Darby.
Yeah, the two very good corners. Gilmore has been solid all season. Darby hasn't played like a rookie. He's been steady, although he did give up the touchdown earlier to Macklin.
5 in the secondary, 2nd down and 10. Here comes Smith. That was thrown away. Roby was coming up on him, as was Impoli on the defensive line for Buffalo.
Now with 11 seconds, you can't work in the middle of the field with no timeouts.
So what's the message in the huddle?
Well, you got to call a play where you got a chance to pick up, 10 yards or so and give your kicker a chance. And if it's not there, then Alex has to be smart. And then you take a shot on 4th down. A 4th down here, you can throw it in the end zone. They're in the plus territory.
No timeout from the 44 of Buffalo, 3rd and 10.
For a deep out route.
6 in the secondary. Here comes Bryant. And Smith may have gotten him in position. 8-yard pickup. The ball is at the 36-yard line. There are 4 seconds remaining in the half.
This is what Rex Ryan was concerned about. Alex Smith's ability to be able to pull the ball down and run, and when he does, he usually picks up a 1st down.
He's going to try a 54-yarder. This would be 1 yard longer than his career long, which is 53. This season, 51. This from 54.
Doesn't have the strongest leg from this distance.
There is wind at his back. And a timeout taken by the Bills. Well, Rich, stepping back here a little bit, what do you think about this first half, what you've seen and how these teams have played?
Well, I'd say, defensively, the Chiefs need to wake up a little bit. Kevin, it's been an embarrassing first half of football. I think offensively, the Chiefs have gotten some things going. Alex throwing the ball a little bit better, and of course, they've been able to run where I think that Buffalo's got to keep finding 14. Sammy Watkins has been outstanding here in the first half. 6 catches, 158 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And defensively, I think overall the Buffalo Bills have done a pretty nice job. They're winning on 3rd down.
54-yard try. He has had one blocked. That was against the Bears earlier this season. Cairo Santos. He's hitting the crossbar. Just that close. Career long 53. Had he been from 53,
we called it. I mean, he doesn't have the strongest leg. His kickoffs have been short today, and a little bit of wind in his face. And you're right, Kevin. Another yard, and he gets it done. But boy, hits the crossbar.
In a game with playoff ramifications, every point, every kick, every throw is vital. This has a playoff atmosphere to it. 2 5-5 teams fighting for a position in the playoffs, and right now, if the season were to end today, the Chiefs would be number 6, and the Bills on the outside looking in. Big first half by Watkins. 2 touchdown passes by Tyrod Taylor. And the Bills by 2 at halftime on CBS. Buffalo Bills missed an extra point, but they're up by 2 on the Kansas City Chiefs at halftime. Now, Who Are You Lovin', presented by McDonald's. Game time gold. And this was a terrific play with Sammy Watkins getting it from his quarterback, Tyrod Taylor. Look at those numbers, huh? Pretty impressive.
Tyrod Taylor's loving him some Sammy Watkins. I mean, it's an unbelievable first half, and we talked about the importance of getting him going early, and that's just what they did in the first half.
How about adjustments, Rich? What do you want to see in the second half?
Well, I think a couple things. I think you got to start with Kansas City, and Kevin, they've got to wake up a little bit defensively. They've struggled. You look at that, 296 yards offensively. They got to figure out 3rd down. They're just 1 of 5 on 3rd down. Buffalo, they got to keep feeding Sammy Watkins. 6 catches, 158 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And I think defensively, you got to be aware of Spencer Ware. He's a guy that can take over the second half. He had 8 carries for 44 yards in the first half and a touchdown, and that was really what kind of sparked them and got them going offensively, handing the football to Spencer Ware in the first half.
Well, Andy Reid has probably had to look at that roster of his because he lost 2 starting offensive linemen in the first half. Let's see what they come out with here in the second. Jeff Allen was, by the way, back out there standing on the sideline. His left guard was standing on the sideline and could have come back in, but didn't in the first half. Davis will take it from the 1 to begin our second half here in rainy Kansas City with a good block thrown on the play by the wide receiver Wilson. And the kickoff man, Jordan Gay, makes his 3rd tackle today. It's a 36-yard return. Injuries today, a big story.
Yeah, really. It started with Houston early. He gets whipped by Parker. He goes out with a knee injury. And Williams, he goes out with a shoulder. He hasn't returned. And then you get Fisher. He gets knocked in the head trying to block Jerry Hughes. It's been a rough first half for some starters on both sides of the ball, both teams.
Stevenson still playing that left tackle. And Fulton playing that left guard. It's Kelsey. This is second. Oh, my God. Head over heels. He was knocked that time with a good-looking tackle made by Corey Graham. He's as good a tackler as there is in the secondary. Gain of 5 right there.
Yeah, when your safety's the leading tackler, I think it tells you a little something about Corey Graham and how he plays the game. Very aggressive. He wants to be down around the line of scrimmage where the action is.
So the 2 starting offensive linemen, both on the left side, are gone for the Chiefs. Stevenson at the tackle again. Fulton at the guard. Second down and 5. Quick throw to Wilson. Jumping on him, Gilmore to the 50-yard line. Gain of 9, and that is a first down.
Well, not a ton of production in the first half, especially early, a bunch of 3 and outs, but then they put together some good drives there in the second quarter. The six-play, 80-yard drive that resulted in a touchdown. The big strike to Jeremy Maclin for the second touchdown. Of course, they missed the field goal right before the half.
Rain now is just a drizzle here. It's the lightest it's been all afternoon. This is Ware. There goes a flag. And he is hit by Darius and whacked on the play by Graham on a gain of 2 as he takes it down to the 48-yard line of Buffalo.
Holding. Offense number 76. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Duvernay Tardif, second-year player out of McGill. That is a school in Montreal. And in terms of sports, the last great, I'm sure there were some in between, but the last one I know was Ken Dryden, the terrific Montreal Canadian goaltender. Won some Stanley Cups for the Canadians.
Called the 80 Olympics, right? With Al Michaels.
He did.
Miracle on Ice. Come on.
How do you know this?
This isn't my first rodeo.
In Lake Placid, 1st and 20. Smith with some pretty good time, and he goes to Maclin. He's right about midfield with the hit on the play, coverage by Stephon Gilmore. It is a gain of 9 to the 49.
You know, you look at the Bills' defense. They led the league in sacks a season ago with 54. This year so far, they only have 15. Just 29th in that department. One of the reasons why is teams aren't holding the ball against this Buffalo defense. The ball is out quick, and I think a lot of it goes back to what we saw in week 2 when Brady, the Patriots, threw it 59 times for 466 yards. Quarterbacks are getting it out quick.
Maclin with his 5 catches. He's over 100 yards today, like Watkins. 108 for Maclin. Sammy Watkins with 158. Second down, 11. Looking for Maclin. What a catch! He's got the ball inside the 15. Make it inside the 20. He beats Stephon Gilmore, 32-yard strike and a Chiefs first down.
And Gilmore's in good position, but then once he turns around, you see the little push off from Jeremy Maclin, and that creates just the separation, just enough separation to make this catch.
These long pass completions, and Macklin's caught a couple of them, 1 of 37, and a touchdown pass of 41, right there of 32. We don't see a whole lot of this in this Chiefs offense, do we?
No, that's a veteran move, just a little push off to create the separation at the end.
Here comes Smith. Pushed out of bounds on the play by the oncoming Impali. And Impali makes the move. A gain of 4 on the play. Smith is tough to catch. We were talking to Greg Roman, who had him out in San Francisco. The current Buffalo offensive coordinator talked about the athleticism of Smith.
Yeah, you look at what he does. It's very deliberate, pulls it down quickly. But look at those numbers. Watkins and McLean. Or Maclin. Both have 6 catches. Big plays down the field on the perimeter.
Multiple tight ends, 2nd down and 6. Chris Conley was at the bottom of your screen running. This goes to Kelsey. Touchdown. He beat Darby the rookie. What a throw by Smith. Travis Kelsey, the tight end. Kansas City Chiefs have their first lead today.
Just check out this formation. Pretty neat how they do it. They get 3 verticals. And Alex Smith is just going to read that near safety. And once he sees the safety jump the inside crosser, he knows that he has his tight end over the top for 6. Boy, Kelsey is a big target in the middle of the field.
Since the start of last season, number 1 in yards after catch, number 4 among all tight ends in receiving yards. He's right up there with the best of them. Last 2 years, he's been terrific. Injured early in his career. The Chiefs, as I said, first lead this afternoon. And Santos will try to tack on one more. And he makes it 21-16, Kansas City. 2 touchdown passes by Smith. 41 yards to Macklin. Then he throws a laser right here, a 15-yarder to the tight end Kelsey. 14 unanswered Kansas City points. 2 touchdown passes by Alex Smith. Travis Kelsey right there, who had over 800 yards receiving a year ago. A little bit behind those numbers, but boy, what a great throw. And he had a tough defensive back on him too, that rookie we've been talking about, Darby. Out of Florida State. And that will be left in the end zone by Thigpen. These are the injuries that we've been talking about today. The rookie Carlos Williams out with his shoulder. That happened in the first half. As did the knee injury to Houston. He has not returned. And Fisher, the head and neck, which means concussion, or at least the concussion protocol is now upon him. Jeff Allen is out too with a left knee. He is standing
Offside.
on the
Kicking team number 54. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
Re-kick it. There's Jeff Allen, so he is on the sideline, but he is not in.
You know, it's amazing. You look at the stats. Neither team has a sack, and these are 2 of the better pass rushing teams in football. And part of it is you know, as it continues to rain here at Arrowhead, that field gets soggy, and it makes it very difficult for these guys to come streaming off the edge. And if I'm calling plays, I keep that in mind, and I continue to give these quarterbacks a chance to make plays down the field. Tyrod Taylor and Sammy Watkins, of course, Alex Smith and Jeremy Macklin. There's plays to be had in the passing game because the pass rush isn't getting home.
Playoff implications here with the head-to-head count, the AFC record, a lot of things at stake. Chiefs at 5-5, winning 4 straight. Buffalo Bills have gone 3-2 on the road. They are also 5 up and 5 down. They've won 2 of 3.
You know, most teams would take the 5-yard penalty, Kevin, but because of Santos, I think the Bills feel really good about getting a short kick here and a chance to set up a bigger return.
Santos and Thigpen, you're right. Here he goes from about the 5 for the Buffalo Bills. And then Harris, who is a backup tight end, brought him down along with Daniel Sorensen, the defensive back, 20-yard return. It's been a tough afternoon for Sean Smith of the Chiefs.
Yeah, it really has, Kevin. It's not like he's been totally out of position. He's just not done a good enough job making plays on the ball. He's worried about getting beat deep, and of course they've been completing underneath routes. This one drives you crazy because he's right there. He's in position to make the play, and he's just frustrated because Sammy Watkins is so good when the ball is in the air. Got great hands, great leaping ability.
Justin Houston is still out. Zombo, number 51, taking his place. 5 in the secondary. This is McCoy on 1st and 10. Cuts the corner so fast, and then Derek Johnson races to knock him out. And it's a gain of 10, just like that. LaShawn McCoy picks up a first down for the Buffalo Bills.
Well, little perimeter run. Watch the cut block that they get. I think it's going to be Woods. Woods goes out and he throws. He knocks the corner down, and that actually it's a safety, Eric Berry, and that gives LaShawn McCoy a chance to get around the edge.
Eric Wood, career starter out of Louisville, first-round pick 7 years ago, 1st and 10. Fake to McCoy, pressured by Hali. And it's Clay who's brought down by Parker. Gain of 4. Let's go to our CBS studios and James Brown.
Jets haven't quit.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to throw a 2-yard strike to Eric Decker as the Jets are all over Miami. Fitzpatrick, 3rd touchdown pass of the day. Jets up 20-0.
Back to Kevin and Rich.
You and I saw the Jets last week in Houston.
Yeah, we also saw Ryan Fitzpatrick last year, Kevin, throw for 6 touchdowns. He's a streaky guy at the quarterback position.
2nd down and 7. Tyrod Taylor. At the block from Incognito, throws to Woods, who is trying to reel it in. With Peters right there, they rule incomplete. Woods says he has it. At about midfield, incomplete. By the way, we were talking about the long incompletion. Let's see if he has it here.
It's always easier when you catch it the first time. I think that ball hits the ground.
Yeah, he's going to challenge. I'm not sure if I know what a catch is anymore. Rich, I think he may have gotten this.
Well, you never want to let it get on your pads, and then I don't know if he traps it. I think this ball hits the ground first. Yep, clearly that ball hits the ground first. They're going to lose that challenge.
So a challenge by Rex Ryan. But his receiver held out of the ball. 9:50 in the 3rd in Kansas City.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. The awarded rewarding Jeep Grand Cherokee. And by State Farm. Find your agent at statefarm.com.
Terry McCollum.
After review, the ball at the ground prior to control by the receiver. The pass is incomplete. Buffalo is charged with their first timeout.
You called it, Rich.
Yeah, I don't think that was Rex's best use of a challenge. I mean, clearly you can see. It'd be one thing if he had that left arm underneath the ball, but I think when you look at it, the ball hits the ground first, and then he's able to get the hands on the outside of the ball.
Rain is picked up. It's fallen now about as hard as it's fallen all afternoon. 3rd and 7. Chiefs have 6 in their secondary. Hit, fumble, Hali darted free. Poe gets the ball. It's the 2nd turnover for the Buffalo Bills. Tamba Hali darted loose. And Dontari Poe vacuums it in.
Well, you're going to see Tamba Hali. He's going to be working on the right tackle. Henderson's in good position initially, but then he just gets beat around the edge, and Tyrod Taylor takes that 2nd hitch. The 2nd and 3rd hits will get you every time against this Chiefs pass rush. Good effort, good hustle by Dontari Poe after the ball hits the ground. Boy, is that big turnover for the Chiefs.
Smith has not been sacked today for Kansas City. Taylor just got whacked by Hali. First by Kansas City's defense in the sack category. This is where on 1st and 10. He tries to find some room. It's a gain of 5 for him in the vicinity with that stop. Wind is picked up 2 now. The rain going sideways.
Boy, Spencer Ware really taking advantage of his opportunities, Kevin. He was a practice squad player, as you mentioned, activated on October 15th. Got a chance to play last week in the second half, really played well. And he reminds me of one of those old school running backs. The more carries, the more touches he gets, the better he seems to do.
First pistol we've seen today. 2nd down and 5. Nice tackle in the open field by Bradham. Read it well. Loss of 2. He was all over that one for the Buffalo defense, which comes into today number 17.
And sometimes you don't always need to see it. Sometimes you can just hear a good hit. Oof. That was a good hit. Nigel Bradham.
3rd down and 7. Quarterback Alex Smith. You can see it's been a long time since he's thrown a pick. He's hit his last 6 in this one here. Including moments ago, a touchdown pass to Kelsey of 15 yards.
Here comes the blitz.
3rd and 7. Going deep, looking for Conley, the rookie out of Georgia. And that is incomplete. Chris Conley. Here he's got speed to burn. Covered well on the play.
Oh, he had him. This is their 3rd round pick. Conley up top. The middle of the field is wide open because the Bills blitz, and Alex Smith just misses him out in front.
Darby with the coverage.
Well, that's one that'll drive Alex. He won't be able to sleep tonight. They wind up losing this game. When you have him open like that and you dial it up right and you get the protection, you got to be able to hit him.
Santos here missed that 54-yarder at the other end. This is into the wind, into the rain from 49. Right down the middle. 24-16. The Chiefs have scored 17 unanswered points on the Buffalo Bills. Cairo Santos out of Tulane with a 49-yarder. Tuesday on CBS, it's everyone's favorite red-nosed reindeer in high definition. Gather the family for a very special presentation. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Tuesday at 8, 7 Central only. CBS. Santos just kicked a 49-yard field goal, and now he kicks off. Thigpen, a yard deep. And Branch got him from the side. 31-yard return. So this is the playoff picture. Kansas City right now is in that 8th position. Buffalo on the outside looking in. A lot of 5 and 5s in there, you see. Oakland, Jacksonville, Miami all at 4 and 6. 8 teams overall within 2 games for 2 slots.
Yeah, this is really where the good teams begin to separate themselves from the pack. That's why this game is critical for both the Bills and the Chiefs.
5 and 5 Buffalo against 5 and 5 Kansas City. Taylor being chased by Sambo. First down by Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor, the ball carrier.
He can run it with the best of them. And he, that time, picks up 15 yards and a first down for the Buffalo Bills.
Well, he has rare movement skills to escape with suddenness and make plays outside the pocket. That's really where he's dangerous, and that was a big concern for Chiefs defensive coordinator Bob Sutton. His ability to extend plays with his legs.
Bills come in having won 2 of their last 3. Tough loss in New England on Monday. 1st and 10 here. Sean McCoy. Oh, like a missile coming through. What a play by Derek Johnson. Losing 4 in the play is McCoy. Johnson is the all-time leading Kansas City tackler.
Well, that's amazing. He's just going to meet McCoy, not even in the hole. He just blows up that A-gap between the center and the guard. He hits him right in the backfield. That's a terrific play by Derek Johnson. Leads that team in tackles. A nose for the football.
Chiefs will just keep their 4 defensive backs in there. 2nd down and 14 for Taylor. Fullback Felton is in. Taylor. And Watkins through his hands with the coverage by Smith.
A really nice job by Tyrod Taylor, sliding and moving around the pocket. You got to hit him. It's a good route by Sammy Watkins. It just can't make that catch. He knows he's got to deal with Marcus Peters in front of him. Got to be, as a quarterback, you have to be able to protect the receiver with the throw.
Chiefs, by the way, have a lot of interceptions. They're tied for 2nd in the NFL with 14. Carolina on top of that category with 15. 3rd and 14. The Bills need the Kansas City 45. Chiefs in the nickel. And they go to Hogan. He's shy of the first down. Caught the ball at about midfield, and Abdullah was there. 9-yard pickup, 5 yards shy. And the punting unit comes on the field for the Bills.
Well, we've been talking a lot about Sammy Watkins, but Tyrod Taylor's got a lot of confidence in both Robert Woods and Chris Hogan. Both have been around since day one with this coaching staff. Extremely diligent, bright guys. The thing you like about them, they almost always do the right thing.
Marcus Peters was over there, the initial coverage. 4th down.
Ooh, that's a big penalty.
It sure is.
should make it a first down.
It's 4th and 5 right now.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 84.
They may have to
5-yard
measure.
penalty. First down.
They get in the first down. It was actually a little inside the Buffalo at the 50, inside Buffalo territory, just by a couple inches, but they do give him the first.
Well, there's no reason for it. Demetrius Harris is just right next to the center. You're going to see him right here. I mean, I don't.
That's a second penalty on him on special teams today.
Boy, there's been a killer. With the self-inflicted wounds.
And a much-needed break for the Bills, who now have it at the Kansas City 45. Taylor, 15 of 28 through the air, 240 yards. This is McCoy. Henderson with the block. Woods with the block. He's got the first down. Weaving his way, LeSean McCoy. Barry was there with the stop. Pickup of 12. And a first down to the Kansas City 33.
Boy, the suddenness, he just doing a really nice job. You can just tell by the game plan, a lot of the emphasis has been trying to get LeSean McCoy outside the tackle box. Running at these defensive ends and outside linebackers of the Kansas City Chiefs. Trailing by 8, Kevin, they score here. You have to assume they would go for 2 in this situation.
McCoy has got 15 carries and 60 yards today for the Bills. With the 1st and 10, he gets it again. Cuts inside so nicely, knifes his way down to the 28-yard line. Zombo on the stop, taking the place of the injured Houston. It's a gain of 4.
This offensive line, you better start blocking this guy right here. I mean, he is spending a lot of his afternoon in the backfield of the Buffalo Bills and making it very difficult on LeSean McCoy.
Chiefs have scored 17 unanswered points. 2nd down and 6. Boobie Dixon, Felton with the lead block. Cordy Glenn with the lead block. And then out of bounds he goes, as you can see. Tackle over there by Sean Smith in the Kansas City secondary with a gain of 2.
Play looks a little different with Boobie Dixon in there as opposed to LeSean McCoy trying to run that perimeter sweep. Boobie Dixon is better suited to run downhill between the tackles.
And he's in and seeing time because Carlos Williams is injured in the first half. A shoulder injury, out for the game. On the 27 in Kansas City, Buffalo on a drive which has seen a run of 15 by Taylor, a run of 12 by McCoy. 3rd down and 4.
There's Sammy Watkins again. In the field, the middle of the field is open.
Taylor throw it away and a flag, a delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
3rd and 4 becomes 3rd and 9.
Well, the problem with a young quarterback, an inexperienced quarterback on 3rd down, you've got issues with both recognition and execution. He's trying to sort through what the Chiefs are doing defensively. A lot of players moving around in that secondary. He gave a confusing look. Wound up not paying attention to the 25-second clock.
You're just talking about Watkins. He has not caught a pass here in the second half. 3rd down and 9. He's at the bottom of your screen. Taylor's got time. Flag has been thrown. Hogan across the middle. Brought down by Parker. That's a gain of 12 on 3rd and 9. As
Personal foul, roughing the passer.
Double whammy. The ball's at the 20 with the completion.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, defense number 22. That penalty's declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 96. 15-yard penalty added at the end of the play. Automatic first down.
Bad penalty on Jay Howard. That's going to push Buffalo deep in the Chiefs zone.
Well, you got to use better restraint. That's just a poor decision. Hitting Tyrod Taylor well after the ball's out of his hand and then leading with the helmet. We're going to call that one every time.
But as you and I talk about on the other side of that argument, which the Chiefs would say is, how's a man that big going to stop? But he led by the helmet, that's right.
You get so frustrated trying to chase Tyrod Taylor around all day. You get close, you're going to take a hit.
Yeah.
Take your shot. You got to be smart.
San Diego never made the red zone against the Chiefs last week. Here's another trip in there for Buffalo. 1st and goal. It's caught by McCoy. What a move and a touchdown. Got right by Peters. And goes in again. LeSean McCoy. 10-yard touchdown reception.
Well, somebody made a mistake here. I mean, McCoy just outflanks the Chiefs defense. I mean, they have no one out there in the flat. You look at it, Frank Zombo, he turns and starts running with the tight end. Somebody blew an assignment there for the Buffalo Bills.
McCoy with his second touchdown reception of the season.
This is an important two-point play here now to tie it up because they missed that extra point earlier in the first half. 1 for 3 on the season.
We got Dixon and Watkins in motion. Taylor. Look out. The official's down. Taylor's down. Zombo got him. Pressure on the play by Jay Howard. So how big was that offside on 4th and 5? Kept the drive alive. And then the shifty McCoy takes it in. And the 2-point, no good. But the Bills are back in business in Kansas City.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Walmart. Walmart has everything you need to share wonder every day. And by Verizon. Watch live primetime games with NFL Mobile, only on Verizon.
It's the scout. And in the background there, you see the Sprint Center and the Performing Arts Center. Kaufman Performing Arts Center. From the 35-yard line, here is the kickoff now by the Buffalo Bills after they got a 10-yard touchdown pass to Shady McCoy. And they could not convert, though, on the 2-point to try to tie it. Niall Davis. And upended on the play with a nice move by Duke Williams to make the tackle on a 21-yard return. 3:05 in the third. Here comes Alex Smith. Earlier in the week, the Chiefs continued a tradition as President Mark Donovan, a great guy, and the Chiefs Rookie Club joined other volunteers to distribute another 1,700 holiday baskets to families in need via the annual Chiefs Thanksgiving food distribution. While they're distributing these offensive linemen, Allen is back at the left guard because the center, Morris, is out with concussion protocol. So Fulton, who is replacing Allen, is now the center. And Stevenson remains the left tackle because Fisher is out with concussion protocol. 1st and 10. Ware gobbled up on the play by Preston Brown, the linebacker to the 26 on a gain of 6. How about these quarterbacks with the weather the way it is, wind and rain and cold? Nothing in terms of interception.
Yeah, really taking good care of the football. Both have done a nice job throwing it down the field. Tyrod Taylor to Sammy Watkins, and Alex Smith has gotten Jeremy Maclin involved. 6 catches, 140 yards, including that 41-yard touchdown.
Chiefs, by the way, have had 55 consecutive drives without committing a turnover. 2nd down and 4. It's Smith, and he's shy of the first right there. He was grabbed by Graham, hit by A.J. Tarpley, a rookie out of Stanford who's in. Gain of 3.
Well, talking to Rex Ryan on Friday, he said Alex Smith is going to take 1 or 2 looks and then he's gone. I mean, check this out. Once he sees an opening, he's not going to go through the progressions. He's very deliberate, and that's the big thing when you play defense against a mobile quarterback. You've got to make sure you're very disciplined with your rush lanes.
Smith will look into 5 defensive backs for the Bills. 3rd and 2. Kelsey across the middle. He beat McKelvin. He's tackled by Corey Graham. It's a catch and run to the 34-yard line. 37-yard catch and run by Kelsey, the tight end.
Boy, this guy is dangerous. Just a little in route. It's a low throw. Look at him go down and get it. And then you see the speed. And watch this right arm. Watch this stiff arm. And he drops on Graham. This guy is a terrific player at the tight end position.
4 catches and 69 yards for the tight end, the leading receiver on the team. Here comes Ware. Wrapped up. Nice penetration on the play by Darius. Loss of a yard on the play. Find the perfect gift for your favorite sports fans. Team and player apparel and gear for every sport, plus free shipping when you shop CBS Sports. Shop now at cbssports.com/gift.
Kevin, you mentioned the changes along the offensive line. We got to keep an eye on Fulton playing the center position. And then you got Reed had to jump back over and go play the right tackle position. You've got Stevenson, who didn't start the game. He's in there at the left tackle position. A lot of changes in front of Alex Smith.
Second down, 11, Smith. Ooh, Kelsey stopped. Belted by Roby. Incomplete. 3rd and 11.
Well, you look at all the changes to the offensive line. Look at these injuries. You know, Allen hurt the knee. He's come back in. They lose the center. And Eric Fisher's out. They're starting left tackle. I mean, that changes how I think you call a game from a protection standpoint if you're Andy Reid.
Chiefs have a 3rd and 11 right here, but they're going up against a defense in Buffalo that is the best in the NFL at defending 3rd and 10 or longer.
And they got some guys that can come screaming off the edge, and one of them's right here in Jerry Hughes.
He had 10 sacks a year ago. 3rd and 11. Smith up. He's got to get to the 24. He's got the first down. Tackled by Corey Graham. It's a gain of 11 on 3rd and 11, and it looks like Alex Carrington is down for the Bills. But let's watch this run.
It's amazing how quickly he decides to pull the ball down and run. It's not like it's 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3. It's 3rd and 11.
And did not slide. He was right on it. Carrington is the guy down. He's taken the place of the injured Mario Williams, out today with a foot.
Boy, they can't afford to lose any more players up front. Mario Williams out. Kyle Williams has been out with the knee. It's really affected their ability to rush the passer.
Rain is stopped as of now, but the field is slick. Doug Schallenberger doing a great job with his Kansas City grounds crew. They have got the field in outstanding condition. It was covered for the last 3 days.
Ooh, you see him right there at his right ankle, right in the middle of your screen there.
So they give him the first down on the 11-yard run, as we mentioned, and they continue to look at the injured Buffalo Bill Alex Carrington, originally drafted by the Bills in the 3rd round. Left a year in St. Louis, now back.
Well, he's right here, right in the middle of your screen, and I don't know if somebody steps on that right ankle or what. Oh, it's his left ankle. Yep, you just see it gets rolled up. I can't tell. He's starting to grab the right ankle at the bottom of the pile. Tough to tell whether it's the right ankle or the left ankle.
Got the golf cart out there now. That is never a good sign. With 14 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter, Kansas City Chiefs have scored today in a 3-yard touchdown run by Ware, a 41-yard touchdown pass to Macklin, 15-yard touchdown pass to Kelsey, and a field goal moments ago. The Bills have gotten a lot out of Watkins in the first half, not much in the second. Watkins with 2 touchdown receptions as they get Alex Carrington to his feet. Defensive line depth was an issue coming in for Ryan's Bills with a look at Watkins, who's still stuck on 158 yards and 6 catches, all in the first half.
And this really changes, I think. We're talking about the changes that the Kansas City Chiefs have with their offensive line, Kevin. You know, Rex Ryan, he wants to dictate and control how the game is played. He's not at all interested in adjusting to the offense. He wants the offense to have to adjust to the defense. And when you're down in numbers, you don't have Mario Williams and Kyle Williams and now Alex Carrington. It really changes, I think, how you can attack defensively.
Inampali is in on the defensive line for Ryan and the Buffalo Bills, and that's hard to watch. Carrington taken off, and we'll try to update him. Think of all the hours these guys put in, all the months of training. Clock is rolling, and they're going to conclude the 3rd quarter with both teams going to the other end, and the Chiefs on a drive, which has had as its biggest play a 34-yard catch and run by Kelsey. It's Kansas City by 2. We go to the 4th at Arrowhead. Tie-breaking playoff implications in this one. 2 5-5 teams, 2 second-place teams in their respective divisions. Tyrod Taylor, 18 of 32, 271. 3 touchdown passes. 1 to McCoy, 2 to Watkins. Alex Smith, 15 of 24, 235, 2 touchdown passes. 7th play of the drive here. Smith just ran for 11 to get the first down for the Chiefs. Where Darius slowed him up. And then Stephen Charles jumped on him. Gain of 3 to the 20-yard line of the Buffalo Bills.
And Marcel Darius should be winning that battle inside. Remember now, the Chiefs have their backup center in the game, Zach Fulton. Talked about Dontari Poe. Marcel Darius, another big nose tackle. It's hard to move off the ball in the running game.
Second down and 7.
Tight end's open right down the middle of the field. They don't even cover him.
He's going to go out of bounds. Tarpley forces him out of bounds on the near side. No gain on the play. He just got back to the line of scrimmage, or maybe a football's length inside the 20. That's it.
Just watch the tight end right down the middle of the field. You look at these safeties; they're wide. Who's covering the tight end?
Wow!
I mean,
Oh
look
my
at this.
goodness!
Who's covering the tight end? I mean, that's the guy you got to cover. That's the leading receiver right there, Travis Kelce. He just scored a touchdown a few minutes ago.
They're going to record that last play as a sack. That's the first given up by the Chiefs. 3rd and 7. No place to run there for Macklin.
Very conservative play call on 3rd down.
What a nice play by Corey Graham.
Well, he makes a lot of tackles, Kevin. He seems to be around the football.
So moments ago, we had a 10-yard touchdown pass to McCoy, which brought the Buffalo Bills to within 2. They failed on their 2-point try. And now here comes Cairo Santos out there, who has made and missed one today. This is a 38-yarder. He missed from this end before from 54. But he does have the wind here at his back. 38-yard field goal try. Nice snap. And he just curls it in and extends the Kansas City lead 27 to 22. Nice hold here by Colquitt on the snap by Winchester. 3 the result. Chiefs by 5. The battle Chiefs and Buffalo Bills. Chiefs have scored every second half possession. 15-yard touchdown pass to Kelce and a couple of field goals moments ago. That guy Santos knocked one through from 38. Buffalo Bills have had one second half touchdown. That was a 10-yarder from quarterback Tyrod Taylor to LaShawn McCoy. And the ensuing kickoff with a 5-point Kansas City lead. Marcus Thigpen just inside the Buffalo 1. Upended on the play. Zombo's taking the place of Houston, 51. He made the stop, 27-yard return. Saturday, the best game from the best conference is the biggest of the year. It's the Florida Gators and the Alabama Crimson Tide in the SEC Championship game on CBS. Beginning with CBS College Football Championship Saturday and College Football Today.
Well, after going off in the first half, Sammy Watkins, Kevin, hasn't been targeted here in the 3rd quarter.
That's surprising.
And you know what? You can say, well, the Chiefs are doubling him. You got to move him around. You got to have a package of plays for him regardless of the coverage.
Good time for Taylor. Outside, he's got the open Clay. He breaks one tackle and then gets great yards after the catch. He broke the tackle of Peters and finds 15 and a first down to James in New York.
Fitzpatrick having a good day.
Fitzpatrick's going to throw his 4th touchdown pass of the day to Brandon Marshall, who's having himself a season high 9 catches for 131. Jets lead 28-7 in the Meadowlands.
The distinctive voice of my guy, Kevin Harlan.
Thank you, James. Fitzpatrick thought maybe he might have been concussed last week as he ran one in on the goal line. Here's McCoy on 1st and 10. Got by Johnson. Slides face first into the sideline with a gain of 5 on the play. And before that, it was Charles Clay with a nice catch and run of 15 to move him and give him some breathing space.
You know, to be a good running back, you have to have great balance. Just watch McCoy here. Just look at him jump, hop, skip, keep his balance, use that left arm. I mean, it's some really good running from LeSean McCoy.
Three-time Pro Bowler, rushing champion back in 2013. 7 years out of Pitt. He is marvelous. 2nd and 5. Williams couldn't get him. Taylor on the move. Has the first down. Looking for a block from his lineman and his tight end. And he got one from the tight end, Mulligan. It's a 10-yard catch and run. Bills do that well. They block well. And Mulligan, the tight end, paving the way for the first down run by Tyrod Taylor.
I think sometimes you don't realize how fast Tyrod Taylor is. I think we're seeing a guy that's continuing to improve as a pocket passer. Looks more and more comfortable. You know he can function there, but he also has the ability to pull it down and make big plays outside the pocket.
He's also got a career-high throwing this afternoon. 286 through the air for Tyrod Taylor. Longtime backup to Flacco in Baltimore. 1st and 10. LeSean McCoy gobbled up. They had Zombo there. They had Derek Johnson there at a gain of a yard. Put him at the 42 of the Kansas City Chiefs. Tonight, he was held by Cuba in prison for years, and he tells his story for the first time tonight on 60 Minutes. Plus, the Daredevils who are taking on one of the most dangerous mountains in the world. Only CBS.
You look at Tyrod Taylor, Cameron, talking about how efficient he's been. He comes into this game completing 68% of his passes. That's the highest completion percentage in Bills history for a single season.
Nothing to Watkins in the second half. 1st and 10 moments to go. 2nd and 9 here. And a drop for Hogan. With coverage on the play by a couple, including Ron Parker, who is right there. It's 3rd and 9 for Buffalo.
Play was broken up by Ron Parker.
Well, nice job by Parker.
From the 42-yard line.
Put that on the back shoulder of Hogan. If he put it in the front shoulder, it would have been a much more difficult play for the safety.
Couple of injury updates here. Carrington just cut it off, out with a knee. The starting center for the Chiefs, out with a concussion. Morris, the rookie. 3rd and 9. It's only drizzling now.
Here comes the blitz.
Taylor, and it's almost kicked off by Peters. He floated one outside for LeSean McCoy. That would have been 6.
Well, it's a dangerous throw from Tyrod Taylor. The pressure comes to his right. He just blindly throws this thing, put too much air on it. And my goodness, this could have been a house call if Marcus Peters was able to make this catch.
He's got 4 of them. Colton Schmidt the punt. Touchback earlier, 2 touchbacks for the season. Back there, the backup receiver, Frankie Hammond Jr. They just got him off the practice squad. He'd been on the active squad before. 31-yard, well-placed punt by Colton Schmidt. Timeout, 10:01.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Honda. Hurry in for great deals during Happy Honda Days. Amazon Fire TV. Change the way you TV. And by T-Mobile. Ditch your carrier and switch to the Un-carrier.
Well, if you ever come to Kansas City, you've got to visit the Negro Leagues Museum. It's just terrific. So many artifacts. Founded back in 1990. Satchel Paige, one of the great names from that era. Pitch for the Kansas City Monarchs. There's a 1st and 10 after the Buffalo punt. Spencer Ware. Oh, and there he gallops. He got by Graham. He's deep in the secondary and finally tackled at about the 48-yard line and grabbed by Manny Lawson. 35-yard run.
Wow, this is a good-looking hole. Spencer Ware, he's going to run through a couple tackles early. Gets lost in there, able to duck, and Graham comes in and kind of makes a, I wouldn't call it a shoestring tackle, but he does just enough to take the edge off of Ware and allow some of his teammates to come from behind and make the stop. But nonetheless, a great run by Spencer Ware.
2 5-5 teams this afternoon. 1st and 10. Smith wanting some depth on that one, looking for Kelsey. The coverage by Corey Graham. 2nd down and 10. 2 5-5 teams in the thick of the playoff race in the AFC. Chiefs have won 4 straight. Rex Ryan and the Buffalo Bills have won 2 of 3.
Well, you see so many different approaches versus Rex Ryan. You see teams that are very protection conscious. They keep 7 or 8 in the block and then take shots. And then you see other teams that try and get everyone out in the pattern and have the quarterback recognize the blitz and get the ball out quickly before the blitz gets home.
Bills stay in the nickel, 2nd down and 10. Ware. And tripped up. Looks like Brown may have gotten a hand on him. Gain of 6 right there for Ware, the running back for the Chiefs, who's got 14 carries and 97 yards. And last week in San Diego, he had 11 carries and 96 yards for the Chiefs.
Now they bring in Niall Davis. And as Andy told us on Friday, you're not going to replace Jamal Charles, but regardless of whether it's been West or Davis or Ware, he said we just try and formulate a game plan around what they do well.
Davis, a 3rd-round pick 3 years ago out of Arkansas. 3rd and 4.
Tough to figure out who's coming and who's not.
Look at that line, very crowded. Outside Macklin. He got a block from Wilson, and that block got him what he needed. With another 4 yards, they get to the 40, gain of 9 on 3rd and 4, and Macklin gets the 1st down.
Yeah, and this happens quickly, and what happens is you see these guys, they're blocking before the receiver even catches the ball.
That 9-yard completion good for Kansas City Chiefs.
Good block there, though, nonetheless, by Albert Wilson. Really was the block that allowed Macklin to make the 1st down.
Macklin with 149 yards, receiving through the air on 8 catches. 1st and 10. Niall Davis. With a gain of 2 right there. As he takes it into that defense, Hughes is at the bottom of the pile, brings him down. Jerry Hughes.
Well, good play callers are not afraid to call the same play several times during the course of a game. We just saw the big run from Spencer Ware, and they came back with the exact same footwork and run with Niall Davis. Didn't get the same result, but ran the same play.
We saw Macklin hobbling off. Don't know how serious that is. Let's see if they attend to him, though. He's just taking a breather on the sideline. 2nd down and 9. Ware. Into his own blocker, Zach Fulton, who's playing center now because Morris is out. It's a gain of 3. And looks like Allen is hobbling once again, the left guard.
Well, keep an eye on Macklin. He's on the inside there, and he's going to go down and block. And then it looks like he just grabs the right side or the left side of that lower leg. He hobbled off. Now he's back in. A lot of guys getting nicked in this one.
Still the rain. It's at the back of the Chiefs because of the 10-mile-an-hour breeze. 3rd and 6. It's Macklin again. Oh, nice blocking. Kelsey with a block. And Ja Reed with a block. He gets a 1st down catch and run to the 24 of Buffalo. A pickup of 11.
Well, great job by Alex Smith. He's going to change this play to the quick screen, the receiver screen. You see Duvernay, Tardif, and Reed get out in front of this one. Macklin chasing those guys up the field. It's a great play versus internal pressure. It's a good job by Alex Smith. They put a lot on his shoulders. He's got a lot of responsibility in this offense, and he has owned it. A number of their plays are check with me's at the line of scrimmage.
Macklin with his 2nd 3rd down reception on this drive. 1st and 10. Smith looking for Wilson with the coverage by Darby. It's incomplete, flag thrown.
Personal foul roughing the passer. Defense number 55. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
It's Jerry Hughes.
Well, it's just, he's going to come in late. Right there, he's just going to, whoop. I mean, there's just no reason for it. I mean, you wonder why this team leads the league in penalty yardage. Well, there it is. You got to be smart. Hard to win when you do dumb things.
By the way, going back to that 35-yard run by Ware, the Bills have been so good at stopping explosive runs. They had only allowed 4 runs of 20-plus yards this entire season. Number 1 in the NFL. And then that one busted of 35 for Ware. 1st and 10, Ware again. Slips and slides his way down to the 4 on a gain of 8 with another flag.
Holding offense number 76. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Duvernay Tardif, first-year starter.
Well, you see right here, he's going to get beat around the edge. Brian, and he's just grabbing with that right arm. You know, Kevin, if the Bills can hold him to a field goal here, it's still just a one-possession game.
Absolutely.
It's a big penalty in the red zone.
So here's a 1st and 20 now for the Chiefs. Back at the 22 of Buffalo. Where Preston Brown grabs him after a gain of 3. They'll take him just inside the Buffalo 20. And timeouts. Bills have 2. Chiefs have 3. Clock now hitting 5 minutes and rolling here in the 4th.
And the Bills lost one of those timeouts with that challenge. They need a stop here.
Well, both coaches really stressing the importance of this game, and we talked to him, Rich, on Friday. Knew what it meant, a win in this game, what it could do for their playoff hopes. 2nd down, 17. Into 5 defensive backs. He's chased by Lawson and throws it away. His receivers, including Jason Avant, heavily covered by Darby. And then downfield, they were looking for Macklin, and he was covered by Nikel Roby.
That's really nice job by the coverage units. There was nowhere to throw the ball, and did a nice job, Lawson and the rest of that group up front, flushing him to his right.
Well, on this drive, the Chiefs have converted a couple 3rd downs. 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6. Both passes going to Jeremy Macklin. 3rd and 17 right now. Double screen for Wilson. Looking for a block from Reed, who gives him a couple, but not much. Roby was there. Roby makes the stop. It's a gain of a yard. They hold him there. The defense of Buffalo does their job, and so Kansas City will trot out onto the field. Cairo Santos.
Well, I'll tell you, check out Roby. He's right here. There he is. He almost intercepts this ball. I mean, he sees it the whole way. See him driving on it? And then he just eases up just a split second there. That's a great anticipation, great play by Roby. Boy, if he just would have kept running, he might have hit his head on the goalpost.
37-yard field goal try by Santos. And he'll bury that through. His 3rd consecutive field goal. He hits one from 49, from 38, and that one he drills from 37. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs have scored on 6 of their last 7 possessions. 3 consecutive field goals here in the second half, which began with a Smith to the tight end Kelsey 15-yard touchdown pass. Chiefs at one time had scored 17 unanswered to go up on the Bills, who trail by 8 and 3:30 to go in a game matching 2 second-place teams in their respective divisions, 2 5-5 ball clubs. The Chiefs come in after a 1-5 start, having won 4 consecutive to get to 500. And Thigpen is brought down by Sorensen with a flag thrown on a 17-yard Buffalo return. And some words after the play.
During the return, holding receiving team number 33. 10-yard penalty, first down.
21st special teams Buffalo penalty. That is an NFL high. And here are some of the other notes with this afternoon's game.
Yeah, Buffalo raced off to a 10-0 lead in the first quarter. Sammy Watkins, 2 first-half touchdowns. He was terrific. Kansas City came back late with a touchdown throw from Alex Smith to Kelsey. McCoy, touchdown, put them within 2 points of the tie. They went for the 2-point conversion, didn't get it. Trailed 24-22, another field goal. Now they're down 8. Inside 3:26 to go.
Tyrod Taylor with the 1st and 10. LaShawn McCoy. Wood is out there blocking the center. Derek Johnson forces him out of bounds after the catch and run of about 4 yards on the play. He's up to the 14. Today, McCoy 19 and 74 yards on the ground. And McCoy 2 receptions for 27.
How about Watkins? Kevin, 6 catches for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. He's been shut out in the second half.
Second down, 6. Taylor. Malga will force him out of bounds, but he's got the first down, running to the 20-yard line. Tyrod Taylor picks up 6, and they'll move the chains.
Well, after you have the first half that Sammy Watkins do, you make some adjustments, and really, Sean Smith has done that. He's played a lot better in the second half. They've also helped him with some safety rotations over the top, but for the most part, Smith has done a much better job playing with more confidence against Watkins in the second half.
First and 10, McCoy. Good tackle. Made by Hussein Abdullah. No gain on the play. They'll remain at the 20-yard line.
You look at those numbers in the second half. Not a single reception. And I think you have to have a section on your call sheet if you're Greg Roman to find ways to get him the ball. I think part of it is moving him around a little bit more, not just always lining him up outside the numbers.
Second down and 10 for Tyrod Taylor. He's got Hogan across the middle. Should have enough for a first down. Big stick made by Tyvon Branch. Gain of 11. Oh, now they say he dropped the ball. Incomplete.
I don't see that. He had they should challenge that. He clearly had possession. He takes a couple steps even after he gets hit. That ball doesn't come out until he hits the ground. Watch this. He still has possession. The ball doesn't come out until he hits the ground. Wow. Somebody ought to tell Rex Ryan. Somebody.
Third and 10. Six defensive backs. Taylor gets away from Zombo. Throws to Charles Clay. They need the 30. It's like a pinball bouncing off one defender after another. And Zombo makes the stop, taking the place of the injured Justin Houston. It's a gain of a yard. He gets to the 21.
Well, that's bad coaching, and I'm not just talking about Rex Ryan, Kevin. You have to have the communication from upstairs. Those coaches upstairs have to be looking at the replays as well.
Timeout, Buffalo.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subway, the legendary sweet onion chicken teriyaki. Subway, eat fresh. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Buffalo timeout. They've got 1. It's 4th and 9. They need their own 30. Rich, they may not even have had to face this situation had they challenged what looked like a catch by Hogan on a cross at the 30.
Kevin, I think clearly he had control of that football, took a football move. Even after he got hit, maintained possession. The ball didn't come out until he hit the ground.
Big play here. Taylor, oh, they're chasing him. He fumbled. He needs the 30.
Oh, he got it.
He may have been able to sneak. He's going to be a yard shy. Abdullah was over there, and chasing as was Zombo. And it's Kansas City's ball on downs. He is short, and the Chiefs will take over.
Wow, what a great effort. He fumbles the ball. Now watch him try and extend here. He gets knocked around. Then I thought he maybe stayed in, but looks like he got pushed out.
Yep.
Just short of the first down marker. But what a great effort nonetheless by Tyrod Taylor trying to make the first down.
Abdullah hit him. Zombo hit him.
We'll see, that's where I thought he may have made it when he got pushed forward there at the end. You're going to watch
Made the line to the game.
Moses come in. Moses hits him and knocks him forward. I thought maybe he made the first down. Well, it should have never have come to this, Kevin. They should have challenged earlier on that call, that incomplete pass to Hogan, which...
Well, going to the one before, they're going to challenge this to see if he's got enough for the first down. They're hit by Abdullah and Zombo and Moses all at once. He was airborne, Rich.
Yeah, I just don't know that.
I don't know either. Okay, we brought in Mike Carey from New York. Mike, there are two plays here. Talk about this one right here moments ago.
All right, Kevin, this one, in my opinion, is a catch, and here's why. Control, 2 feet down. He turns to brace himself for the contact. Then he goes to the ground. His elbow hits with quick control. That's a catch down by contact if I'm in the booth.
And he was running along the 30, even though he was knocked backwards.
Would have been a first down?
It would have been a first down at the 30. Mike, now we've got another interesting play, a challenge by the Bills on the spot on the run by quarterback Tyrod Taylor.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Kansas City. Buffalo's charged with their third and final timeout.
So, Mike, what did you think of this call?
And I think this one could be confirmed as Kansas City ball. The ball is fumbled by Taylor short of the line while he's airborne. And there's a fumble forward, out of bounds. Should be brought back to the spot of the fumble, which is short of the line to gain.
And that's exactly what they've done, thanks to Mike Carey in our CBS studios in New York. So that was a 4th and 9. They're shy by really the length of a football from getting a first down. And now the Buffalo Bills out of timeouts with that failed challenge and the 2-minute warning approaching. Watch the Chiefs give it off to Ware, who's been a hammer up the middle most of the afternoon. Gain 5 to their 24. The 2-minute warning. The Chiefs are up by 8. The Bills are out of timeouts. Thursday, it's a rivalry matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions on CBS and NFL Network. And in 2 weeks, the Vikings and the Cardinals meet only on NFL Network. What a game that'll be. It's a 2nd down and 5 here. We're at the 2-minute warning. Buffalo's out of timeouts. With a couple tight ends. Ware. Holding on. Lawson and others.
Spencer Ware, ball carrier.
And Empoli make the stop. A gain of 2. He's down to the Buffalo 22.
Yep.
All right, the Bills got a date with Houston. That will be an important game. Then at the NFC East, Philadelphia and Washington. And then Dallas. And then the Jets.
Well, the Chiefs really have a favorable schedule the rest of the way. Not a single team with a winning record in 3 of the next 5 at home. And Kevin, you and I were just talking off the air. 2 teams heading in opposite directions. The Chiefs now won 5 in a row. You've got the Bills that have lost, what, 4 of their last 6?
3rd down and 3. Ware, and he may have pushed the pile for a first down, submarining to the 19. He got it, gain of 3, carving out the first.
That'll do it.
That'll do it is right. And the Kansas City Chiefs are going to get a 100-yard rushing game from this kid in his first NFL start. Spencer Ware, 19 carries, 114 yards. Coming up, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Seahawks on CBS. Ware had 70 rushing yards in the second half. A 100-yard game in his first NFL start.
Kevin, we talk about the importance of communication in this game, and somebody up in that coaching booth for the Buffalo Bills never signaled down to Rex Ryan that Hogan made that catch. They get the same pictures that you and I get right here in the booth. That was a critical mistake on the part of the Buffalo Bills.
The Kansas City Chiefs have won 5 consecutive games. It's the longest winning streak in the NFL outside of undefeated New England and Carolina. The Chiefs go to 6-5. The Buffalo Bills have lost 4 of their last 6. They go to 5-6 in the AFC East. And this is how it looks as we're halfway through today. The Chiefs' 5th consecutive game without a turnover and 58 consecutive drives without turning it over. And their quarterback, Alex Smith, with no interceptions in his last 283 pass attempts going back to week 3. On an ugly day in Kansas City, a beautiful win for the Chiefs. in a tough loss for the Bills. Up next, Game 2, Pittsburgh-Seattle. For Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan, good night from Kansas City. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.